Skinny wanna cause trouble.
Everybody think I'm okay cause I'm smiling. But where deep down in my soul I'm drowning. Nobody trying to hear me out. They hitting me up but I can't let it out. So I've been drinking liquor, blowing my trees. I don't know what happened to me. They left in the night but I cannot sleep. Oh. And no one know the way that I feel. I'm going places but I'm not free. Plenty in my but I see. Oh. I'm sad. I'm too sad. Oh, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad. Sad. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad. Oh, I'm sad. I got job, I got money and life. My family, everybody alright. So I'm not happy. Oh, I'm not happy. Sometimes I be like say nobody. Yeah. Sometimes I be like say and I know myself. I got girls, but I'm feeling sober. I'm falling, I can see no shoulder. I'm calling, but nobody can talk.
Yeah, good morning.
Nobody can talk.
I don't know if you guys hearing me.
Everybody think I'm okay cause I'm smiling. But where deep down in my soul I'm drowning.
Good morning, my people.
Nobody trying to hear me out. They hitting me up.
Good morning, good afternoon.
So
Welcome to the Diaspora Park.
I don't know what happened to me. They left in the night but I cannot sleep. Oh. And no one know the way that I feel. I'm going places but I'm not free. Plenty in my but I see. Oh. I'm sad. I'm too sad. Oh, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad. Sad. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad. Oh, I'm sad.
Skinny wanna cause trouble.
This is the time to come together. Keep my baby safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have a peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful. Sweet Liberia, where the clarity is our home. Keep it standing. This is the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, where the clarity is our home. Let's keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Oh, sweet Liberia. Love is all we need to make a stand. Unify and have a peace of home. Change is is all we need to make a stand. Let's unify and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, with the liberty is my home. Let us keep it standing. He's the one and only home that we have. Say sweet Liberia, this land of liberty is my home. Keep it standing. This is the one and only home. The one and only home. Sweet Liberia. Love is all we need to make it sing. I think I'm okay cause I'm smiling. Oh, where deep down in my soul I'm drowning. Nobody trying to get me out. They hitting me up but I can't let it out. So I've been drinking liquor, blowing my trees. I don't know what happened to me. They late in the night but I cannot sleep. Oh. And no one know the way that I feel. I'm going places but I'm not free. Plenty things I wanna see. Oh, I'm sad. I'm too sad. Oh, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad. Sad. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad. Oh, I'm sad. I got job, I got money in life. My family, everybody alright. So I'm not happy. Oh, I'm not happy. Sometimes I be like say nobody else. Sometimes I be like say and I know myself. I got girls but I'm feeling sober. I'm falling, I can see no shoulder. I'm calling but nobody can talk. Nobody can talk to me.
Yeah, good morning, my
Everybody
people.
think I'm okay cause I'm smiling. But where deep down in my soul I'm drowning. Nobody trying to get me out. They hitting me up but I can't let it out. So I've been drinking liquor, blowing my trees. I don't know what happened to me. They late in the night but I cannot sleep. Oh. And no one know the way that I feel. I'm going places but I'm not free. Plenty things I wanna see. Oh, I'm sad. I'm too sad. Oh, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm sad. Sad. Oh,
Yeah, good morning, Wesley, where you at? Come in.
oh, I'm sad.
Yeah, this music is a popular demand.
Skitty wanna cause trouble.
Everybody think I'm okay cause I'm smiling. But where deep down in my soul I'm drowning. Nobody trying to get me out. They hitting me up but I can't let it out. So I've been drinking liquor, blowing my trees. I don't know what happened to me. They late in the night but I cannot sleep. Oh,
Yeah, good morning, my people.
and no one know the way that
Good afternoon.
I feel. I'm going places but I'm not free. Plenty things I wanna see. Oh, I'm sad. I'm too sad. Oh, I'm sad.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon.
Yes.
Wesley, where you at? Just joining in. Welcome to the Diaspora Talk. We are definitely here to discuss issues affecting our country, Liberia. Today happens to be the second day in the month of October 2022. Yeah, we're bringing you exactly information.
And I know myself. I got girls while I'm feeling sober. I'm falling, I can see no shoulder.
Yeah, if you just joining us, please share the broadcast, my people.
Nobody can talk to me.
Yeah, the Diaspora Hour on the Diaspora
Okay,
Talk.
cause I'm smiling.
Yeah, right after the intro of music, we'll be live in our discussion with no time to waste. It's 9 p.m. in South Korea, my people.
Eating me up, but I can let it out. So I've been drinking like I'm blowing my trees. I don't know what happened to me. They left in the night, but I cannot sleep. Oh.
Yeah, Panto on this new track. He call it Sad.
But I'm not free. Plenty man.
Yeah, Liberian musician Panto, man.
I'm sad. I'm too sad.
Yeah, my people. Liberia is on the map again. Back to me, Liberia, and also in the Diaspora. We'll be bringing more information to you as we discuss about the rest shortage today in Liberia. Please share the broadcast, my people. Today is the second day in the month of October 2022. Let's hear this music from the man Quincy B. He called it One Check and Balance. Hope I get it right. Okay, let's go. Yeah, right after this Quincy B music, we go live. Discussion.
More effective writing can you manage at work? Grammarly can make your job one click simpler. Grammarly makes sharpening your resume easy. Working right where you are to help you get where you're going. Concise writing.
Day not break. Everybody on the hustle. Some people know like peace. They want some trouble. Crime rates on the increase. The government can protect the people. Hold up. No justice for the poor. Yeah, like the way we live it.
Yeah, good morning there, Riverside Pro. Good morning, Elijah Peters. Welcome to the broadcast. Please share the broadcast, my people. It's early in the morning there in the US of A. It's in the afternoon in Mama Liberia. It's in the evening in South Korea. What exactly are the hope for the future?
We have
one of our major problems in Liberia is scarcity of rice. Rice higging. Every time our people.
Because all we have is pharaohs.
We ask God to give us Moses to lead the people rightfully. All that we have is Pharaoh.
The rich get richer.
We're discussing about the rest shortage today in Liberia. Please join the broadcast, my people. Let's make this one a very fruitful discussion tonight.
Our lands are fertile, no food on the land. Our children, we're pushing it to back. The way we live it, we treating one another unfair. Love the way we live it, we treating one another unfair. What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future? What's the hope for the future?
Yeah, do we have hope for the future? That's exactly what we're talking about tonight, my people.
But in the morning time like this, with children and slaves, we're fighting the war not with guns and bullets.
Yeah, it is so crazy, my people. Whenever we see these issues going on back in our country,
while we're still living,
yeah, we in the diaspora, we suffer a lot.
Be deceiving whenever the
people may not understand.
As
time go by, trust me, you will definitely understand.
That's the way we living.
That's the way we live, my people. Keep treating one another unfair.
That's the way we living. We treating one another unfair.
That is unjustifiable.
What's the hope for the future?
What's the hope for the future, my people?
What's the hope for the future?
Yeah.
The hope for the future. What's the hope for the future? We don't go
we all set, man. We all set with a discussion tonight. Let's go live in our broadcast. Gabriel is already well seated. Like what our audience themselves well positioned in the chat section. Here to commence a wonderful broadcast tonight, my people. We all awesome, man. We're not stupid here, my people. Okay, let's take this time to start the broadcast right now, my people, because we already going into time. Good morning there in Liberia. That's a good afternoon there in Liberia. Good morning there in the US of A. And good evening if you are watching on live from South Korea. Gabriel, good evening there from your end in Dawkins Chun. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Yeah, good evening, CEO, and good evening to all our ardent followers. And welcome to the Diaspora Talk. Today is the 20th, what? Today is the 2nd of October.
Second,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean,
Second.
yeah, the year has run out. We are already out. Yeah.
Yeah. The year is already going to an end. We have a maximum 2 more months to go because we're already in
Yeah.
October. Yeah, we got
Mhm.
November pending, and we have also December. 2023 is around the corner where Liberia will be going to their general election. More to discuss on the platform as the time go by. But today, Gabriel, can you abreast the audience with what we're talking about tonight? What's our discussion going to center around? And then we can kick the ball rolling.
Okay, like we just said, on our headline, we are discussing national issue. I mean, especially the most sensitive issue right now in Liberia, where it has to do with rice. The shortage of rice, and currently we are seeing that Liberia right now we are not food sufficient, we are not food secure because our staple food, I mean, the food that most Liberian rely on is actually, you know, there's a huge shortage right now. We don't know where it's coming from, but there's a huge shortage. Even though the president stated that it is a rumors, it is a lie, it is a gossip, and no one should listen to it, but the reality has set in. I mean, there's a huge scarcity right now. People are looking for rice. There's an increase in the price of rice. Prices are jumping up. And I mean, some business people are using this to exploit the situation, to maximize more profit. So we are going to be looking at the issue of rice. I mean, what can we do to actually, you know, save Liberia or save Liberia from this? Because we know the history of rice, April 14, you know, April 14, the rice riot that broke up in Liberia. We know, let's say, we know the consequences of that. And just by the way, we should be expecting Mr. Armstrong Jabba to serve as our guest today. I wrote him earlier, and he consented to be on the show. Armstrong Jabba is one man who is carrying on huge agriculture, projects in Liberia. The man is expanding and growing almost in all the 14 counties. He's growing locally made rice, local food. We have Liberian rice for sale. So we just wanted to hear from him what he has to say concerning food security in Liberia. So that's it from my end. So let me just so carry on. Let me just try to see whether we can get Mr. Astro Jabba on the network
Okay, yeah,
today.
good. As we are with Mr. Anscombe Jabba, an agriculturalist, someone who's going to be telling us about what our government can do in order to have sufficient food for
Mhm,
its citizens.
mhm,
You're going to take his time to break it down, and likewise with ourselves, we're going to be giving some little ideas to our government just so they know what best they need to do. Sometimes people feel that when we talk about these things, we're trying to politicize. These things happen everywhere in the world, but it is not often as compared to Liberia. Some of the Western countries, these things will happen maybe after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years or more. But for our country, Liberia, these are things that happen almost every 6 months, 3 months, or a year. I mean, it's like a normal routine, and we have to keep talking about it. Let people not think that we're trying to politicize anything on here. We love our country so much, and we want the best for our country. I tell people that whenever the crisis back home increases, you and I that are in the diaspora, we are the one that suffer from it. Just today, I received a call from back home, and I'm being told about the rice price had gone up to XYZ level.
mm,
So imagine if you send money for a certain purpose. Maybe all you know that rice is around $25. So you send
mm.
a $25 to your family to buy rice, and maybe you send a $50 to buy something different. So see what's gonna happen. They're gonna give you a call. Oh, the right now is about $40 US. So that means the $50 extra you send for something different, about $15 gonna be subtracted from that money to add on the rice money. And then you are the one that's gonna look for money again to send back to complete the $50 that you send for a specific thing. So at the end of the day, it is you and I that suffers all of these things on their side, my brother. So if we do not talk about these things, trust me, it affect us. It's gonna definitely affect us. We have to talk about it to see how best we can find a solution.
Yeah,
Hope our government
yeah.
officials are listening and now they can be able to take some of these advances from us to be able to help the country. We love our country so much and we want the best for Liberia.
So
We,
I spoke with Mr. Jabba, and I think we should be expecting him a few minutes from now. I think he just saw the link. Probably it should be 7 o'clock in the U.S., right? I know Minnesota. I know that's where he lives. Yeah.
okay,
Hello.
that's who's saying something that just be subscribed to the channels.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are clear. You are clear enough. We're getting you clear. You are clear enough. Okay, so while we are with Mr. Jabba, let me see if I can dial something in here very quickly. That our brothers and sisters that are watching us for the first time, this is Diaspora Talk. We are here to discuss issues about Liberia. We do not attack personality, but we discuss personality because it is personality that make the news. That's what we do on here. So trust me, everything that would concern Liberia, be it outside Liberia or inside Liberia, we always talking about it on the platform here. Our president make his case to the United Nations General Assembly, which of course he met Liberians in I don't know which one, I think in New York, and he
Yeah.
made them to understand that Monrovia had turned to Miami. Now it had become one of the major trending topic or story now on social media, which of course you and I know that there is no way in any form that you can compare Monrovia with Miami. Miami is one of the funniest states in the US of A, well developed. You cannot even compare Monrovia with Guinea Conakry. That's just right by us. When it comes on the line with so many other things. But we have to educate the public. We have to stop misinforming people. So, for example, maybe somebody who have not gone to library for 10, 20 years or what have you, and who is also not following social media, listening to such message from our president will be eager to go back home. But when he or she gets there, it becomes an embarrassment because moreover,
CEO,
do
don't
we
you think
have
we should digest the issue of the rice first before going to that, like our second topic?
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you're right.
because
You
the
are right.
guest is coming
Okay, you
exclusively,
are right. You are
you
right.
know, for
Man,
this.
I just start hitting my brother. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's
let
go to this
digest it.
right while we are with
You know,
our
CEO, the last time we spoke about this right issue, I think this should be our second term. And the last time we saw President Weah, and he went to warehouses to actually check, whether because I think this should be the second time we are having, you know,
check your monitor a little
shortages.
bit, Gabriel. You're going a little bit lower, so try to increase it a little bit. I think you were
Hello, hello,
okay. It's
am I
better.
okay?
It's better. Better.
Yeah.
Better.
So like I stated, This should be our second time talking about, rice issue, rice shortage in Liberia. And I can remember the president went to, I think, Freeport or one of the warehouses to
Okay.
actually, dispel the rumor that there were shortages of rice in the country. And he thought by going and seeing the physical bag of rice would prove that, we still have rice in the country. But I think the president is being misled, and he himself don't know how to reach it, because this thing, there should be empirical data. There should be, when we say rice is in the country, it shouldn't be by word of mouth. It should be by data. That's why we have those, we have all the Ministry of Commerce, where Mawani this is. Those importing everyday commodities, you should keep track of them. How many bears do we have in country? And how many do we have for contingency in case something like this happen? We should have something for contingency. For time like this, we are in a global crisis. We should have reserve. If the president said we have rice in the country, he should come out and show empirical data and tell the people to convince us rather than standing there and trying to dispel this. So we said one of the way in which we can actually limit our reliance on imported food is to look inward. My brother, for me, I see it as a shame, as a disgrace to sit in a country where everything grows, everything in Liberia grows. If you mistake, if a pepper seed mistakenly drop from your hand and just touch the soil, that seed is going to survive. You don't need fertilizer. We live here, we see the kind of, we see the kind of chemical the people apply to their let's say in the agriculture process before they even grow food. But in Liberia, you don't need those things. Backyard garden can feed you for almost 6 months. You don't need to buy potato green, my brother. So I think we should try to look inward. Instead of subsidizing, because I heard that, the subsidize, there's a subsidy in which the government has accumulated almost $5 million in debt. Why you can't subsidize, or why you can't put that subsidy into local farming? That $5 million, why you can't infuse it into the economy to help people that Armstrong Jabba to produce rice in Liberia? We are
Okay.
just 5 million. Yeah, so my brother. So I think one of the way to crop the issue is to look inward. Is to look inward rather than relying on people from. My man, it's so ironical to see us waiting for rice from way India, where people have snow, and you in Liberia, you only have sun and white rain. Things
But
grow toward you.
I'm sorry for interrupting, right, Gabriel.
Yeah.
But let me make us all to understand some of the things government need to get themselves involved with when it comes to line of rice sustainability, right? What government need to do? There are 5 ways the government can unlock a more social economy. Because you see the issue of rice. Let me just give a typical example, then I will be able to list the 5 ways. And as we dive into the show, I will try to explain each of the 5 ways. For example, in Korea, the Korean government invests in its citizens, business people, to be able to make rice sufficient on the market. Farmers. But let me just go to list the 5 ways as we start our discussion. 5 ways government can unlock a more social economy, right? Because the social economy, those are things that help to make a country, better. Number one, to recognize and build, a new framework. Number two, create incentive for fundings and investment. Number three, expand education and research. It also helps. You understand? Number four, make public and private procurement China more inclusive. And then number five, say what? Collect and make visible social impact and data. So we did this about social economy. One of the things our government can do, the government can try their best to invest into enterprise in the country, business people, Rich people, people who got money, people who got business, people who got organization. Government can invest money into those people to be able to put more food on the market. These are similar strategy that Korea used today. Today, they are providing more food for themselves. Similar strategy the Singapore also use to be able to be food sufficient. Our government can be able to do the same thing. Like you were just talking about Mr. Armstrong Jala. He's a businessman. The government can invest in this kind of a man who have the idea. He already started. It is not that he have the idea just on pen and paper. But there is a man that is practicalizing the idea that he have to make his country food sufficient. So the government can try their best to be able to invest in people like that. That's the social economic aspect of a country. Everything you don't have to depend on China to send in tons of bag of rice. You don't have to depend on India to send to Liberia tons of bag of rice. Invest in these individuals. And at the end of the day, trust me, we will be full sufficient. That's just one of the aspects of helping our country and helping our people. But our government officials, this guy go to school, this guy learn, but sometimes they fail the Liberian people. So I don't know what we have to say at the end of the day. Because these are common things you learn in school. How to put these things to work. Engage into social economy. It will help the country a lot. It will help us to get more food. So that tomorrow we can, because whenever there's shortage in the country of rice, my brother, it affect Liberians in totality. Be it in Liberia, be it outside the country. You and I right now, Gabriel, we are going through the issue of rice. If you used to send $30 back home to buy 2 bags of rice, now you are sending $30 no more to buy 2 bags of rice. You are sending more than $30 because we knew bag of rice used to be $15.
The burden is shifted. The burden has been shifted.
Definitely. So it become embarrassing to us all. What the government officials don't listen to the pieces of advice that we try to give them that they can work on.
As for me personally, I'm not cutting your CEO. The government thinks that by having a tax waiver on rice and subsidizing importers is the best way to do it. I mean, I think that's not a very great fiscal policy. If you really want to do that, because I heard that I know about 200 million every year government spend or the importer spend up to 200 million leaves our economy. 200 million leaves our economy just for rice. Imagine investing that 200 million into Liberia. Just imagine investing that 2 million into Liberia. So I think the government fiscal policy is haphazard. It's incorrect because let me tell you something, my brother. The more money you take out of your country, the more job you take out of your country. Because if you use that money that you are taking out of your country to invest into your local farmers, we'll have what we call expansionary, economy. I mean, there will be great expansion. Those people, there will be work. Those people will hire more people, and money will go around. There will be more goods and services bought. And right there, and brother, tell me, there will be more money into the economy. So I think the government should forget a little bit about relying on imported food and try to help its own local farmers. There are vast land. We have vast land in that country, my brother. We have vast land that people are not doing anything on. Like I said, follow Armstrong Jabba. You see the kind of work those guys are doing. Those guys are hitting almost the 14 counties in Liberia. And everything they plant, and people used to say onion don't grow in Liberia. But right now, those guys are growing onion. They are growing every edible food, every food that you think about. So I can say this for our own security, my brother. By investing, by spending all the money in your country alone, my brother, you provide more job. All the job, all the rest you bring in from all, you are just empowering, and providing job for Indians and Chinese. Why should you be in a country where everything grows and you importing food where people are somehow, challenged by the weather? Very soon, we'll be entering winter, CEO, and all agriculture activities cease. And guess what we'll be eating? All the food, all the rice we eat in South Korea are produced by South Koreans. And the government does one thing. Government provide easy access to what to funding. You can go to NH Bank. You can see in fact, they call themselves the agricultural bank. You go there, you see farmers, and they create markets where the farmers can go and sell their things. But yet, then still, all those things have been handicapped because we don't want to. I think we should try to look inward a little bit. I mean, imported food won't help us.
Yeah, definitely. Timas, welcome to the show, my man. Other morning over there, my brother.
Good morning, CEO. Good morning. How you guys doing? Good morning, Giver.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Doing very good. We will have Anscon Jala on shortly. I think we have Anscon Jala for an hour, 30 minutes. In the subsequent time, too, we might have our sister Yaksini on for an hour to have a short discussion too about one of the stereotypes I've been training on social media. So she's well seated and well ready to join us. So hope we can have Mr. Armstrong right now joining us to discuss the issue of rice. Tima, what do you have to say, my brother? Because the issue of rice business happens to be an old age problem for Liberia, and it is a very serious thing.
See, let me just answer Rosa Pro before, I'm sorry, Timas.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is asking whether South Korean import rice. With the amount of agricultural activities I see here, I'm very sure that South Korean import rice. But one thing I can say, South Korean have so much food to rely on that can feed the entire country. All the food, especially those vegetables or agricultural products you think about, my brother, they are produced right in Korea. I have worked on the farm before. All the bowlers, look, the land are bowling North and South Korea. If you go there, you will see huge farms. And those farmers are supported by banks. As soon as they harvest their products, you will see the banks coming for their products. Everything. And carry to the market. Apple, anything you think about. The people have easy access, to capital. And that's one of the ways in which you can expand your economy, give money to those people, go give money to the farmers, and the farmer will go and hire people to work for them. And those people, when they put money in their pocket, they will also help another people, and the money circulate in the economy. Rather than taking the money and start empowering other people in India. The subsidy, $5 million, you provide a subsidy to importers. Why you can invest the money in your country? Then you come back without any empirical data, you can say the thing the people talking, no rest in the country, la la, la la. No. Go ahead, Timas.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. You know, um, the president. I think that issue was brought up. President came to the United Nations General Assembly, and it just tells you that the president is not even on top of his game when it comes to running the country. Um, he had that problem before leaving the country.
Yeah.
Um, the news was up.
Okay.
He's at the UN General Assembly. He was asked that question, and he stood right there and said, "Oh, we got food up to next year," and whatever he was trying to say. But that just tells you how poorly the president is managing the country. Because as a president, you should know when you have these kind of problems coming up. Um, but he sat there, he stood there and told the journalists, "Oh, we got food that can take us up to next year. And, that's why we went the other time to the port and we had all the food there. You guys saw it and blah, blah, and the rest of it." And wanted to go back home. And yes, it was true. There's rice shortage in this country. And the citizens are there, complaining and struggling to afford food. They're not trying to get it free. I mean, just to buy it, they can't, find it. And when those things happen, the price of commodity goes high. So now the common people suffer. So it was a big blunder and a disgrace on his part to stand here and answer that question, boastfully, and then go back
Yeah.
home, and the problem was in the country actually. So I mean, it just tells you how poorly the country is being managed by the president. Thank you, Lincoln.
Thank you very much for that response. Still with our guest, Gabriel. Can you try to get to our guest as soon as quickly as possible because our second guest is already ready and we want to be done with the rest issues before we can bring her on. So at least we can have an hour discussion with him because he's someone who has been in the agricultural area for a long period of time and.
Let's just give him 10 minutes, maybe for
Yeah,
now to
give or
10
take
o'clock.
your monitor. You are coming low again. I don't know if on your back or increase the volume a little bit.
All right, 1 minute, please.
Like Steve Miles was saying, right? It is a disgrace to our government when you went over there to the United Nations General Assembly to make statement on behalf of Liberian people just on your return. See, see what happened. See the stories on that is ongoing in the country. So if our partners, are following the story back home, they're gonna say, "But what a shame." We talked things who have been better put in place before our brother come over here to make statement, but instead, a return is a disgrace. So it just show, that he's going over there. So it just, for example, when he even went to go beg for money, then with the response that people see him back when they say, "But when well, what is this?" So even if we give them more money, they have he may not even use it for better purpose for the people. So it was somehow embarrassing. But Liberian people, let us face the fact. People will try to say, "Oh, the people trying to politicize things, that politics and XYZ." What you call politics? One fool in the country, fool in the country. That's just it. It is not just one company in the country that is selling rice or bringing rice in the country. I don't think so. So when rice there, rice is there. When rice in those shops, rice are there. There's nothing to politicize anything. Are you guys going to tell that it is the opposition that's selling the rice in the country? Is that why you guys telling it? The rice in possession of the opposition? No. The government are the one who monitor the activities of rice. So they should have a database to understand as to whether that when there is shortage or not. Even when that speculation come on the social media, within an hour time, we expect a better response from government. But where? Up to present. See how's the country is like. So then how can the people take, or how do you guys expect to take the kind of a government seriously?
CEO,
Right?
can I come in 1 minute?
Yeah, go ahead, T Max.
River says Pro just said something that the president needs to reshuffle his cabinet. And I'll be honest with you, if I
You
was the
will not.
president, standing at the UN General Assembly and bragging that food is in the country up to a year plus or whatever, because I'm very sure that's the information he got from his cabinet ministers that, hey, everything is under control. One of our old politicians said that's one of the things that spoiled Liberia. Cabinet minister looking at the president telling you everything is under
Everything's under
control.
control.
Yeah.
So apparently he felt everything was under control, right? And now he went back and he got a hit. So if you were the president, you went through that disgrace because you were basically depending on what your cabinet minister told you. But now the reality is different. That alone should wake you up as a leader to take action and put people in those places that really mean business and mean well for the country. But no, he's my friend. He will stay there. We'll just talk about it and we'll go away and stuff like that. And that's how our people continue to suffer due to poor leadership and bad leadership. Thank you, CEO.
But Masakwa to that, also I can blame the president. I mean, the president should be following up, my brother. Your work as a president is not just to pass around. You know why they created a very big executive mansion? It's for you to sit there from in the morning, in the evening, appraising the performance and following up on all the cabinet ministers' work. Look at the data of, Commerce Ministry. Look at how many imported rice do we have in the country. Do your strategic planning. As soon as they talk about Russia war between Ukraine and Russia, as soon as that war hit, you should know that there will be some global crisis. So what can you do? Call your agriculture minister, call other people, your finance minister. We have to do some strategic planning, make sure we have more rice in the country that we can carry on maybe like 1 year or 1 year, 6 months. For contingency, or I mean during emergency time, because we are in a very unstable situation right now. These are
But
things you have to be looking at. If you come out, you say that we have rice in the country, are you just speaking out of your head with no paper, nothing?
right.
So the president himself, he made fool out of himself. He lied to himself. We have paper. Somebody
But
say, you come to me, Mazakwe, remember we have rice, man. We have rice. And you know how the president determined that rice in the country? They will carry him to the port and show him one warehouse. What up behind the warehouse? There's no rice there, and they just stop at the front. They just the president. You see, there's also rice there. You see the same thing we're talking. And you say you see it, and he blindfolded about those things. So that tells you that the president himself, I mean, he's not really paying attention, or he's not following up on the
no,
work
but
of the cabinet ministers.
I said it. I said it in my first statement. It's just like it go both ways. The president
Yeah.
himself is responsible. His cabinet ministers are responsible too, because you can't tell me that if there is a rice shortage coming up, they don't know. They should know,
They should
because
know.
you look at the population in the country, you look at how much you got and what are they doing, check and balance on how fast food is getting out, and and people are purchasing rice, and what's the shortage, if they even replacing. Those are data, like you said, they should be following, and that should tell them, hey, at this time we'll either be needing to import, or there will be a problem in the country. But no, they sit there, like you said, they look at physical evidence. Go there and see rice line up in the put in
Yeah.
one container or one
Mhm.
warehouse, and say, oh yeah, Mr. President, you see the rice, you can carry for 10 years. Oh, okay, that's true. And they go sit down. So
But basically, the main thing that led to this is the people want to artificially bring down the price of rice. You don't do that. My brother, right now, businesses are incurring so much expenses. There are so many. I mean, operation costs are going up because of the global crisis. So you can artificially do it. You say, okay, let's take for example, I want to bring 100 bag of rice in the country. I want to sell them for $15, and you say, Gabriel, you know what I mean? Don't sell them for $15, because the people, there will be an outrage. There will be hesitate. There will be so much anger because it's our staple food. I'll give you $10 on each bag of rice. How long will you go with that? A government that is challenged, a government that cannot even pay its own workers, a government that does not even keep the lights on. How long can you go with that subsidy? It's just an artificial intervention, and one day it will backfire, and this the backfire now. They have to pay the people 5 million back before the people bring in rice. Or what they can do, they just remove the subsidy, let the price go, let the price go up. Let the price go up. At least if at $1 or $2, it can go up and the people can buy it. Rather than causing scarcity. Right now, there's huge scarcity, and if care is not taken from now to December, price might go up to $50 per day or $60. Get me? So I mean, it's just artificial, intervention they are trying to do. It's not.
so
It's not. It's not something reliable.
yeah, so my brother over there were asking what's the remedy for this age-old problem. And I'll be honest with you, that was what I was just thinking about before even coming on this second statement. Uh Liberia is the oldest African nation in our region. And we're not even making plans. Rice is our staple food.
Hmm.
All of the government are coming there, they import rice, import rice, import rice. But they got all these countries. The United States help us with assistance. The Chinese government, the Japanese government, all of these big countries that are giant in agriculture. When will our government sit on the table with one of these countries and say, hey, can you give me a 5 year or 10 year plan in agriculture
Hmm.
in terms of, so that we can be at least, if even we import will not be as the way we just depend on import, right? Importing
Hmm.
rights, but we can depend on something here too, and stand up from there and move on.
Hmm.
Why is it so hard for those kind of concessions to happen? It's only maybe, oh, when you talk about roads, yeah, oh, people come and build roads, but what's about the food that the people eat? And I think Liberia is one of the countries in our region that rice is our staple food. The Guineans, the Ivorians I know they eat rice, but they eat other stuff. The Ghanaians, the Nigerians, they eat other stuff, and they grow those things they eat. So you don't find
Well,
those problems in our country in terms of rice. They complain, but Liberia is one of the countries that really depend on rice. They eat rice a lot.
I said it the last time, but people took it as a joke. This is our second time having this discussion. I said one of the ways to limit our reliance or to bring the price of rice down is to diversify our consumption, habit. And you can do that, but I mean, you can just holistically rely on rice. You say rice is our staple food, rice is our staple food, and you're talking about it. I mean, you should have a substitute.
Let, let, let,
Substitute A
let me
substitute of any commodity will bring the price of that commodity down. Let's take, for example, if rice is our staple food and we have another, I mean, rice is secondary to Nigerians. Are you getting me? Most of them eat edibles and they eat yam, which is
Right.
locally produced over there. So you see that the demand for rice in Nigeria is not so high. So we can do that too. We can make cassava as our secondary or as our second staple food. So if the price of rice go up, what do? We shift to our second food. So there will be a substitute for that commodity, and you will see that the demand for that commodity will not grow up. So we have to diversify our consumption habit. That's the only way. I mean, the price of rice will go down. But we can say that we'll be boasting, it's our staple food. It's our staple food. You human being, you can change. So then you have to change your consumption habit. You get fufu, we get edo, we get all those things. You can eat it, you face good cassava, eat it, and go sleep. But no matter what you do, you can get the last chicken to Labrador man. If you don't put rice on it, I mean, he will say, I didn't eat today. I think we have to change that. We have to eat different things.
Yeah, but
Gabriel,
Gabriel, I
you
think
got
I would disagree with you on that. You can't say because we have a government that have poor management and bad leadership, our people should be forced to change their way of eating. My brother, that's why people have government for, and that's why the government do provide for the people, do everything to make their people live a life that they choose to live. You can't force the people because you feel like we have we have the land, we have all of the resources in Africa. The only thing we need is planning
But
and
health
funding.
wise, is it really healthy? You said health wise, is it really healthy to just eat one food? The body need varieties of
No,
food.
no,
Is
no,
it
no, Gabriel. The thing is, to move to that direction is a lot of education you have to give our people. We should know it's not an easy task to do in one day or even in a year. You understand me? And I
yeah.
know a lot of our people eat other stuff like cassava, potato, edo, and stuff. I know that happening. But at the end of the day, my brother, you gotta eat rice. Cause
Yeah, you have to eat rice. You have
right,
to eat rice. But what?
it's not our
let me
people.
let me come in 1 minute and say something.
Yeah,
Right?
go
This
ahead,
is
CEO.
guys, but it is something that I said from the onset of the broadcast that a lot of things our government need to do. Imagine even the Liberian government signed a 2.7 million full aid agreement with Japan to strengthen its cooperation. All of these things still cannot help our country. What best our government need to involve themselves with is social economy. But let me just read something out here for us all to understand. What social economy does, apart from the government just investing in investors or business people, it also helps to provide jobs opportunity for our people. It is something. I mean, I'm saying this thing, and I will keep emphasizing it because Korea is one of the countries that have benefited from social economy, and they are still benefiting from social economy. Singapore is one of the countries that benefited from social economy, and they are still benefiting from social economy. But let me just read the number 5 part of social economy where it says, it collect and make visible social impact data, right? To increase the visibility of the sector, government are encouraged to collect statistics on the social economy, which go beyond traditional indicators. Besides the contribution of the social economy to economic growth and jobs creation, the government should systematically measure and present the social and environmental impact of the social economy. The Social Progress Index measures the extent to which social needs of citizens are being fulfilled through the three dimensions: basic human needs, foundations of well-being, and opportunity by aggregate. So if the government focus on social economy, for example, let's look at business people in the country there, enterprises, organization. You understand? The government can invest money into those people. For example, if that is what you want to do for, okay, let's just look at the aspect of Mr. Jabba, who happens to be our first guest on the show here tonight, a man who is involved with agriculture. The government, because right now, Mr. Jabba, what Mr. Jabba needs is he needs equipment. He already have the idea. He needs equipment. So if the government can look at Mr. Jabba, we want to sign a $1 million agreement with you. And you understand? And then we gave you so and so time to be able to provide so and so, numbers of tons of rice, for us. And there will be a continuing process. Trust me, if the government can look at that kind of a $1 million invested in the business that Mr. Jabba doing, you know how many Liberians will be employed through that money? The government will benefit. Liberians themselves will benefit directly. And at the end of the day, what will happen? Mr. Jabba now, who's thinking on working hard in the next 4 or 5 years to get certain equipment to be able to produce more rice, he can be able to get the equipment in a short period of time. So that's what our government needs to engage themselves in more. Social economy will help the country better for us to have more food that Liberia don't have to worry about anymore. Because if we had about 6 or 7 enterprises or organizations or companies, or some business tycoons, that are involved in the rice processing in the country, trust me, no worries. We don't have to wait for rice to come from China or come from India before the Liberian people have rice on the market. No, we will not have to wait for all of that. These are just simple things our government need to do. And when they do that, it will help the country. Over to you guys, gentlemen.
Yeah, CEO, I think everything you are saying, it has to do, it has to do with government intervention. There are few ways government can intervene in the economy. I mean, either you do it fiscally or you do it monetarily, but we all can see, I mean, the government to really have it right, the government has been intervening. But it's just that their intervention is not more helpful to the economy. And then look at some of the fiscal policies that's what they have carried out. Number one, they provided subsidy by keeping the price of rice down. That's one of the ways in which they intervene. But I think instead of providing that okay, Mr. Anston Jabba is already here. Okay. So I think instead of providing that subsidy in order to to keep the rice price down, they would have infuse that money in the economy by helping local farmers, by providing money, by providing loans to them, giving them loans. So by that way, you can also expand your economy by providing jobs. So I think that's a few ways government can intervene. So okay, that just goes strictly to our guest, Mr. Anston Jabba. Welcome, Mr. Jabba.
Thank you for having me.
Good.
Yeah, we hear you.
From my end, you are audible.
That's good.
I don't know about the other guys.
That's good.
Yeah, he's loud and clear. Even though he came late, but he's loud and
clear. Yeah, I mean, whole day I was working and then I had to take a break. The rest.
Mr. Jabba, thank you for coming. I think today happens to be your second or third time coming to Diaspora Talk. Yeah, to discuss the issue about rice.
Thank you.
To the audience, I don't know you. Can you just shortly introduce yourself again for those that are watching for the first time, just so they can know who's our guest? That will be a very fun thing. Then we'll dive into our discussion.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm Anston Jabba, a Liberian born in Liberia. I live here in the USA. I'm the CEO for Agriculture Liberia. We are the largest rice producer in the country presently. We're producing local rice.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jabba. The rice issue is an old age problem for Liberia.
Right.
That is something that been happening before even some of us were born.
Thank you.
When we came on earth, we also still experience similar thing, and up to present, our children also too who are born recently are also experiencing similar thing. This old age problem of Liberia, rice is our staple food. I don't care what you do, what you go up, you come down, rice, it will forever be our staple food. If you go to the Ivory Coast, rice is not the staple food. They eat the plantain, the yam, as well as Ghana and Nigeria. Those are the staple food. When you go to North Africa, their staple food is flour, which is bread and sugar. That's one of the things they're always protesting for. If you go to Algeria, you go to Morocco, You never want to see them in the street for rice issue. But when the flour price go up, the sugar price go up, you see them in the street. So every country have their stable food what they like.
Yeah.
Even the country Korea we live, Korean men will wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, you're seeing eating rice.
Right.
Rice is their stable food.
Right.
So the issue of rice, you can't take it away from like you got people can say so the whole Liberian people that like rice better, man. You can't take it from us.
No,
that's our stable food right there.
right.
So what I mean, with the strategy you started working on, as an agriculturalist, providing, local rice for the people there back home. And I know there are a lot of challenges that you've been going through.
Yeah.
What do you think are one of the simple, very simple, just give us a simple one first, that, I mean, the Liberians themselves can do before we come to the issue of the government, because you started this as an individual. I mean,
Right.
you did not, up to present, I don't want to believe that you have even getting support from the Liberian government, but always just on you and your partners.
No,
So
no.
what simple strategy you can bring to us Liberians that we can be able to help ourselves?
Thank you. Thank you. In 2014, during early administration, I told the people that we need to grow our own food because there will come a time that India, China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, they won't be able to supply us because their population going to increase in 10 years, and they won't be able to supply us. So 2014, I told them we need to start growing our own food. We need to start growing our own rice in Liberia. So I preached. Early administration, they didn't care about that. So when I came to power, and some people placed me in the CDC chat room. So I started to tell them that the first thing you need to focus on is food, because in few years there will be trouble. India will be able to supply you. Pakistan will supply you. China will be able to supply you. They're going to need their food. So we need to start growing our own food in Liberia now. But those in the CDC said, "Oh, we're not here for food. This is not about food. We are here for development." So they kicked me out of the CDC chat room. They're disturbing us every day talking about food. We don't even want to hear about food. So they kicked me out of all CDC chat room because I was telling them we need to grow our own food. Today, the same people that kicked me out, they are calling me and asked me to sell some rice to them. I will remind them, I say, you remember when you guys kicked me out of the CDC chat room and told me that food was not development? I told you food is number one thing when it comes to development. You people told me that it's not true, that you want to do this, do that. And today, you the same people calling me for rice. You see, the thing here is that, let me just tell you the truth. Let me just tell you what is happening in Liberia so that you can know. The thing here is that those in government are the Commerce Ministry and the top official in government. They work along with the foreign importers, like the Indians and Lebanese. Yeah. So they have a share of the rice business. Therefore, they reluctantly refuse to support local farmers. You see, so they don't give local farmers. You check the budget, you won't see anything there for local rice grower in Liberia. They don't add nothing. But when you check the budget, you see millions of dollars in the budget for the importers, because this is a money that they share among themselves. The guys at the comments, some top government officials get a share, the rest importer get a share, and then all they have to do, this is what they have to do. After that money is allocated for the subsidized price, all they have to do is to share the money among themselves. Then they tell the rest importer to create artificial shortage. Then when the rest importer create artificial shortage, now they have boys who can come and buy the rice and bring it to the public, and the market will make it buy the rice from the boys. Then they add additional money to the rice, and that's how they get back the subsidy that they share among themselves. So they kept doing it over and over. So when the people are angry and the people are in line for rice, what they'll do, they'll call one of the importers and say, "Look, we'll come to your store. We pretend like we're seizing the rice from you, and They put in land and share the rest with them. So they will come and say, "What you're saying the rest is so expensive to our people? What you're saying for people? We'll seize the rest. You're getting land. We'll sell the rest to you for 1350." And the poor Liberian people were getting land, and they will sell a few bags to them for 1350, and they leave, and the people start to sell the rest at higher price to get back the subsidies that the share sell. But this time, 11 million was allocated to subsidize the rice in September. So they disbursed 3.5, and the other 1 point something they share more than 7, and thinking that the price of rice will remain the same. In September now, this is what happened. There was flood in Pakistan that destroyed the rice field. The whole secret coming out. So the flood in Pakistan destroyed the rice field in Pakistan and extending to Bangladesh all the way to China. So India have a drought problem that reduced the production. They have a disease that affecting the rice. So India now have to take care of the people. So September the 8th, India say, you know what, we have to cut off the exportation of our broken rice completely to keep it in our country. And now for the other rice, like the rice is sent to Liberia and stuff in the other country, they say we have to increase the duty. 20% increase. Boom. It hit our government. No way to import rice. You have to raise additional subsidies. Boom, shortage. That's the problem you have to.
Wow.
That's
so
when you are greedy, you lick your hands, lick your finger, lick until one day everything is dry.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They don't want to tell the people what is happening, but the thing is that the price of rice in India has increased. The price of rice in Liberia will have to increase, and it will keep increasing. It will not stop. So the only option now that Liberia has is to grow rice locally. That's the only option.
Thank you for that piece of information. I think it is very clear because these are some of the things we see always most of the time on social media. But our government officials are listening, and then let's try to solve this problem together. So let's hear from you, Gabriel. What's your first question to ask our guest on the issue of Max?
Okay, Mr. Jabba, once again, I would like to thank you for being here for the second time. So my question to you is, you have been doing the things, I don't know, 3 to 4 years now. I've been following you.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. So I just want to know the scale of your farming. Are you still a subsistence farmer, or you have shifted from subsistence farming to mechanized farming? And right now, how is your capacity? Do you have the capacity to feed us as Liberian, or to relieve us from this whole importation of food?
Thank you very much. Let me answer that question quick. Ibi County on 3 acres. And then in 2006 and 15-16, and then we went to Bon County and acquired 5 acres. And then in 2019, we extended to Nima County, 300 acres. So we started with 3, 5, 300. Then we went to Grand Bassa and acquired 1,300 acres. We expanding little by little. And then we are now in Maryland County, where the people were able to give us 20,000 acres. So our larger rice farm right now is in Maryland County, but we have a problem. I don't have the money to rent the yellow machine to clear the land. That's the problem we have. We need yellow machine, but it costs thousands upon thousands of dollars for the yellow machine to clear the land, and then we'll be able to produce huge quantities of rice to supply few counties. And that's why I put it before the government that the local farmers, we need help. Even if people cannot give up money, the same yellow machine are using to the road, to build road, it's the same machine that is used to clear farmland. Even if you can provide a few, We can provide the fuel, just help us clear the land, and then we'll have huge quantity of rice on the market. And that's it. But our people believe that they will always get rice from India, they will always get rice from China, they will always get rice from Bangladesh, Pakistan. So they don't care because they are looking at the cut they are getting. They are looking at how it will benefit the country. They are not looking at how when we produce our own food in the country, they can now have money to build roads, to build hospitals, to build schools. They are not looking, they are only looking at the little cut that the Lebanese and Indians are giving them. And when you have foolish leaders, when you have foolish leaders, everybody suffer. That's what's happening. So the capacity we add now is not sufficient to supply the huge population. Because what can we do, mommy? I don't have money. I'm just trying. Just a little help for the government to take the yellow machine and come say, Anshan will help you. We'll use the yellow machine, buy the fuel, but we'll use the yellow machine to clear your land so that you can produce at least about 20-25% of the rest to consume the country. That's all.
How's the quality of your rice? Is the government really impressed with the quality of your rice?
As the Liberian people, those who buy our rice, they will tell you that our quality is better than any rice that comes to the country. Ask any Liberian that eat our rice, they will tell you our quality is better than the imported rice.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to buttress your question before I bring. Your question, Gabriel. Before I bring, kind of. Tima, sorry for holding you for a longer time.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Armstrong said something, and he keeps saying that the government, he needed help from the government about the issue of yellow machine.
That's it.
Yeah. So let me ask this question to you, Mr. Armstrong. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these are things that happen in Korea normally, you know, with the Korean government being involved into social economic, where they invest in private sector and what have you. They also help them with those, so you know, those machines and things to clear the farm, what have you. But apart from the government, there are other private entities there in the country. Why don't you think you can try to work with other organizations or other private entity or other business people there in the country to make this thing happen? Just only the government you are thinking about? You think only the government can help you? Or don't you think that the private businesses and other investors there in the country, you can work with them, and things can be fun?
I'm open to any investor from Liberia, any Liberian from any country. You and you, every one of you in the show. I always come on my show and tell Liberians I need everyone to come on board for us to raise the money to buy tractors, to buy a very good modern rice mill, and buy the rice harvester, the rice treasure, the machines that we need to make the work easy. I need all Liberians to join me. We are free. We are open to partnership.
Yeah, but and one more thing. Sorry for interrupting you. Sorry for interrupting you also too,
Yeah,
right? Mr. Armstrong.
Let me learn quick. The thing those other organizations you are talking about in Liberia and stuff, when you put your vision before them, what you want to do, instead of them coming in to help, they want to take everything before you even start. And it doesn't work that way. You know, farming is intensive and it takes time for you to yield kind of profit and you need. But our people back home don't have no patience. And when you explain to them, they don't want to be part of something that will take 2-3 years.
Okay, thank you on that. But let me give this one advice to you. I advise that you try to make your way over to Asia, either China or Korea. And try, you can get a better business partner that can help you make your dreams come true. Over to you, T-Max.
Thank you, CEO. Good morning, Mr. Java.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I know you've been around for, like you said, over 8 years now, trying to grow food in our country. But I know you have worked with other governments, not just the current government. Am I right?
No government to work with me.
Like you tried to work with them. You didn't work with them, but you tried.
I tried, but the thing here is that the money they get in rest input, the rest business is a business that is owned by top government officials and Lebanese and Indian that they use to do their business for them. So it's like the breast business owned by certain people in government. Tough when a new government comes,
it's a cartel.
Another government come, they take over. So it's a business that belongs to Liberian government officials, and they use the Lebanese and Indians to do the dirty work for them. So there is no way they're going to work with you. There's no way they're going to help local farmers the way they need to help us to grow food, because that's how they make their money. So that's the problem. It's a business that belongs to the top government, from governments all the way up to the top. And they work with the Lebanese and Indian to do the work for them. So if you come here as a Liberian and you say, look, we can grow the rest here, they still come and get us out, man. We're not going to support no local farmer. We want to call our chopping. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. So
okay, you don't think?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Just
Go ahead.
correct some of the things I was trying to ask.
Okay.
Because so we are all Liberians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have, besides the government, we have other Liberians who are wanting to become president.
Yeah.
I know you're not a politician. I'm not putting you there.
Right.
But we have other Liberians who are wanting to become president. They say they love Liberia, they love the people. And some of them have the resources, like you're saying, the yellow machines, right? To go on that place and help you clear those places and, do some of those things. We have one of the political leader, like Kumis, he's a business guy. He understands, all of those things. He wants to become president, and other like you and others. Those are guys who are financially potent, and they have access to some of these things that you need. Not that they're going to give you physical cash, but for like yellow machine and stuff to help you grow food.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to some of these people besides the government to see if they can help you do some of those projects, like clearing your places, the land and stuff, so you can start to grow more food? Have you ever did anything of such?
Thank you very much. Right on your show, I'll tell you today, no political party in Liberia care about growing food for the country. No politician care about that. They only care about being in power. That's all. They don't care about growing food or let's grow food for the country. They know that when they get there, they will work directly with Lebanese. They will get a cut. The Lebanese and Indian get a cut. That's all they focus on. We're going to become president. We'll take all that revenue. We'll start to get our cut. We'll take all the resources. We'll start to get our cut. That's their focus. But when it comes to, look, they're Armstrong, Jabba, all of them know what I'm doing in the country. All your from Kwamis, Boaka, every one of them know what we're doing. Not one of them have ever called me before and said, thank you for what you are doing. Not one. Even those guys, very political parties who you see come to have the talk show and talking about how the other government is bad and we come and bring change. None of them have ever called me before to say, Armstrong, we see what you are doing. We will invite you on our show. I mean, let me just tell the truth to you. These people don't care about the country. They only care about how to get to power to chop. So if you think that all the political parties, political leaders, all the people they care about the country, they want to grow food for the country, if you think they're on the agenda, you're wasting your time. They don't care about that. None of them thinking in that direction. None of them have called me. I reached out to everybody. None of them have called me. None of all the political those guys that you see on Facebook that are campaigning for the political party, none of them even care about what is better for the country. Only one thing everybody focus on: how can we come to power to enrich ourselves? That's all they think about.
Because
I stay on your show now. None of them have ever called me, not even call to say, "Mama, thank you for what you're doing," or to go on your post and just like what you're doing, to like nothing. The people don't care about that country.
Thank you, Mr. Java. Because the reason I asked that question, every government face this problem, and most of them who vying for office now, that's a problem that is ahead of them. So if they really do love the country like they clean, I think it's something that they should be reaching out to someone like you with the kind of investment that you have already put in the country, and you're still trying to like expound, and you need
that's
help.
how you know they love the country.
Right.
That's how you're going to know the kind of change they're going to bring.
Right.
Now, Timas, I'm going to come in with this question when you just asked Mr.
They see the rice that we're producing. They see how we are struggling.
Because my thing is, we always focus on the government. Sometimes, okay, if the government is not helping, what's about the other people who say they want to, and they have the resources.
Come to power.
They have the resources. They have the capacity to help. So why can't they do these
No,
things
but
and let the
T-Max,
government
See, let the man learn. See you.
No,
Very
no,
good question.
CEO, let me learn.
Let the
Why
man
can't
learn, brother.
somebody
Yeah,
help?
let the
If
man
even the
learn.
government, I'm not saying the government is right to not help, but what I'm saying, why can some of these guys who say they love the country help in some of these areas?
They don't love the country, my brother. Let me tell you the truth. They don't love the country.
Because like
They-
Mr. Jabba just said, he's not asking for money. He
ah,
just need help. He just need help in some of the area, like running a yellow machine on a few acres of land and
well,
cleaning it
for
for a
us,
few days. And he also said they can provide a few. You can't tell me none of the political leaders that are running for office cannot have access to yellow machine.
It's not a
Nobody on this
priority to
can tell
them.
me that.
thank you, my brother. Thank you.
So I mean, legal, you can come in with what you want to come in with, but I'll
Okay,
be
okay.
honest.
Let me say
People who
this.
claim
Let me
like
say
Mr.
this
Jabba
before
rightly said, people who claim they love the country, they
I don't
don't.
need no cash. I
They
don't need no
don't.
cash. Only thing I need is
Okay,
take a yellow machine and
T-Max,
get
that's a
them.
very firm point you make. But let me just say this before we can go around one more time, and then we will.
Go ahead, CEO.
You know what Mr. Jabba is involved with is a business. It is not a humanitarian activities. What Mr. Jabba is involved with is profitable. It's a business.
Mhm.
So to get people involved, I mean, nobody will yet want to spend the money somewhere yet because they want to spend the money.
Okay, my brother. Right on.
I'm coming.
Hold
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
worry,
I'm gonna say you wanted to
Hold on.
hold it there.
Hold
No,
on,
so
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Yahweh.
I mean, you just talk about government intervention right now, then you talking about that business. Government can
Right.
intervene to support the man.
I
You
know,
talk
but
Private,
let
about
me
the
tell
private
you,
sector.
before you
It's
say,
basically called the private sector.
government can
That's
intervene to
I'm
support the man.
open to every one of them.
You guys don't have Jack
To
me,
get,
please. Let me
to
go.
get
no, but CEO, everybody know where you're going. That's why
No,
But you are treading wrongly. You are treading wrongly.
I'm
everybody
turning
know where
wrong.
you're going, so that's why
Hold on,
everybody
let me
know you.
But you
wait.
just talk about government intervention right now, brother.
Yeah, that's
No.
the private sector.
I'm open to any Liberian to
Can
get.
you
The
guys
private sector, the private sector,
Okay, go ahead. Let's protect him.
CEO,
Let's go ahead.
private
Ask your
sector,
question.
and the private
I'm not
sector
talking
is
about the
business.
government issues here. The reason I'm trying to make this statement because TMAS were giving reference on people who are not yet working in government, but want to work in government. These are private business people. For example, you talk about Mr. Alexander Cummings. He's not working in government. For the government aspect, but we understand government should be able to empower its citizens. But for these people who are not yet holding government position, which you are giving example on, is where I'm coming in to ask this question. So
Team,
just
I also call Uranio, so don't only say that.
but you are a government
Also,
official now. You are a
no,
businessman.
But
no, because
they all been
So
wanting
let
to
me
become
learn,
president.
man. Let me
They all been
Yeah.
wanting to become president. I call
go
names.
ahead, go ahead.
so let's get in very clear, gentlemen.
Yeah.
It is a
I was specific
responsibility.
on Cummings.
No. It is a responsibility for every government to help to empower its citizen. But it is not a responsibility for a businessman to empower citizens. No. You cannot tell me that one. I would disagree with you. Business people got their money. Before they invest their money somewhere, they want to know as a what they will benefit from. Gabriel, you're a business student. If a businessman got his money, you think he will just take his money,
But a businessman going into politics.
So that is a question. No, forget about the politics aspect. His money not
You got to
he
leverage that. A
cannot get his money
businessman
for
going into
politics.
politics.
Yeah,
Lincoln,
but understand
Let me ask the question. I get it correct.
that he
Ask a
is
question now. CEO, ask your question.
right. A
okay,
businessman
but
going
you
into
guys
politics.
start tagging me. I will keep going on, gentlemen. Yeah.
Okay, ask your question. Ask your question.
A businessman did not get his money from politics. He got his money from a high-end business. So what I'm trying to say is that what Mr. Jabba is involved with, it is a business that is profitable. It is not a humanitarian activities. So that is my question. Ian Mr. Jabba is asking for partnership from not just only government, but from business people around. I want to ask him let him please tell us, where can we find a financial statement? Because if a businessman want to get himself involved in with such a businessman, these are things they will want to be on the table before they get themselves involved.
But it's easy. It's just they just need an email to send to them. That's all. It's easy. It's easy. Oh, you want financial statement? Okay, send me your email. That's it. That's it. Simple. I'm open to any Liberian, anyone who want to be part of the corporation. I'm open because my desire is for us to be able to grow our own food. That's my major desire. I want to leave a legacy that Liberian will remember me tomorrow, that this is the guy who brought prosperity to his country. This is the guy who brought a relief to his country. This is the guy who and make Liberia to be where it is today. That's the legacy I'm looking at. So I'm open to any politician, any Liberian to come and have share in the corporation. My goal is for us to stop importation and grow our own food. So it's not making, it's about us being self-sufficient. So any political party, any Liberian, anybody who want to be part, whatever you ask for, I will make it available.
So before asking my question, let me just say this. CEO, according to you, a private man cannot venture. I understand. I mean, it is at your exclusive way whether you want to venture into or you want to invest or don't want to invest. But the people we are talking about are people who believe that, who purport themselves to be patriotic people, are people who believe that, I mean, they love the country. So if you love the country, then you must be people-centered. Look at what Mr. Jabba said. Mr. Jabba said the people gave him land. So it means the people are more interested in the venture than even the government. They give the man free land. So the people, if the people can get the man free land,
20,000 acres.
20,000 acres of land, they give. Do you know how sensitive land issue is about? Somebody just take it and just give it to you free of charge. Does not and you say you want to represent a kind of people. I mean, why is about seeking the people's interest?
I'm not talking the chief, they came together. They said, son, if the government was thinking the way you're thinking, will not be suffering.
Very good. So just to conclude on that, before just asking my one question.
Give it to you.
Yeah, just to conclude on that, most of the people who purport themselves to be, politicians or they want to represent our people, those are the things they should look at. Look at the interests of the people and follow them. This is our staple food. So, right. Mr. Jabba, I want to ask you, even though we are talking about, government intervention, there are so many ways government can intervene to help business people. Either they can do it by levy, maybe. Or have you received any like the tax-free duty, like you bring all of your goods because you are growing rice for Liberians and you are duty-free? Do you have easy access to loan? What are some of the privilege that just be fair and unbiased here?
Let me tell you they're going to tell you that duty-free whatsoever. When you get to the port, you see something different, totally different.
Have you been promised that?
Free, it doesn't work.
It don't work.
It doesn't work. They just say the thing, but in the back they do something different.
How about loan? I mean, have you ever engaged? How about taking loan in Liberia? Have you ever engaged in a bank in Liberia? Because the problem is that it's a profitable venture. It's a hard kick, right? You just bring the rice from the farm and people buy it. So it means that you are credit worthy. I mean, have you ever engaged some of the the banks, and has government ever go to to be, let's say, to stand by you as a collateral or something?
And it's not going to happen. Let me tell you the truth. Government not going to do that. The thing here is that when it comes to farming, the people don't even care about that. That's, my man, you guys don't understand. The government don't care about it. The government don't care about farming. I'm just being honest with you. The only way farmers will receive something in Liberia is when international NGOs like the World Bank and all the other people come in to help farmers. The whole agriculture ministry is run by NGO. Government don't allocate anything for the agriculture industry. Zero. The little money the agriculture ministry is just to pay the workers and other things. That's it. But the government don't even have plan of how to produce food for the country. And nothing. They are not thinking in that direction. Like, let's do this, grow food. They only talk about it, but the truth is they don't have no plan for that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jabba.
They don't have plan, but they don't even care about that.
Thank you. I will give my honest advice to you, but that'll be later. So, Alfred, welcome to the show, and let's hear you. Then we go to T-Max. T-Max, Alfred, go ahead. Welcome to the show. You've been following from the comment section or up to the live, so go ahead, my brother.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, CEO, for having me again on the show. This is an opportunity that I always appreciate. I want to say good morning to my brothers in studio. Mr. Jabba, I just want to say thank you again for all that you do for our country. I've been following you since 2016, and I just want to say keep doing what you have to do. One day you'll be the Joshua for our country. One day, just keep doing what you got to do. But let me say this: the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture, there's a portion at the Ministry of Agriculture that the Deputy Minister for Research and Technical Services is headed by someone who literally is a college dropout. He does not understand the intensity of that position. That's why we're having all the issue. Because if you have someone who was versatile enough, that is the arm of the Ministry of Agriculture, because if you want research and technical services, that is the part of the ministry that will provide data analysis about the amount of production in the country. Say, for example, what is the leading product in the agriculture field that people are producing? That ministry, that particular arm of the ministry is supposed to tell Liberian people what is the leading product from the local farmer standpoint. But you have someone who is literally a college dropout, he does not understand the job, and they are saying, oh, the only thing they can do, la muya, zekwe. That is what we're getting. But if you have someone, I tell you for sure, the agriculture ministry or the agriculture sector is very, very capital intensive. That's why you see our brother here continue to tell you that he can't do it by himself.
No,
because the agriculture process is a long-term process.
Yes.
You can just do it today, then you expect to get everything today. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a process.
Right.
Let me just take you back. 2008 in this country, there was a recession. Most of the people can you big words. The truth of the matter is 2008, BB company in the country never have money. They may use that money, they pay BB bankers at the end of the day, they never have money. You know what the government did? The government came and gave these people money to resuscitate them. So that they can revamp the market. Say for example, like GP Motor went bankrupt, they now have money to even pay their salary. What the government did? The government gave them money and turn around and gave them tax break.
Yeah, ask a question, my brother. Ask a question.
Right?
We're running out of time.
Yeah, just ask a question.
I really don't have question for Mr. Jabba, but I just want to join him to talk about some of the things that need to be done. And it can be done by an individual. We need a government intervention. You know what 11 million I would do for Mr. Jabba if you were to give Mr. Jabba $11 million and then you say you have tax break and give him all the technical services that he needs? You know what will happen? But you take $11 million, you settle that rest.
Don't even go there, my brother. I stand on your show and challenge the Liberian government. If they can give me under $1 million, I can change the whole country in 3 years. Under $1 million. I can grow.
Thank you. Thank you, Alfred.
They should put the money in my hand. I don't want the money in my. They should just buy me one good tractor with the different implements. Buy me a rest harvester, rest thrasher, build me a small rest mill. With that little 1 million, in 3 years' time, I can produce food for up to 5-6 countries.
Okay, thank you. Timas, let's hear from you.
Yeah, CEO. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Jabba, like I was saying from the earlier stage, for the kind of venture, the kind of, activity that you involve into, I mean, any well-meaning Liberian should be happy to want to support you, whether private or not. Like the CEO was saying, it's private business. Yes, it is, but these very politicians are going to politics, and when you go into politics, you're about the people, you're about the country. So anything that makes the people to live a better life, anything that will improve the life of the people, are things you have to follow, and you want to be.
You have to have interest in it,
right? And you want to, because you all for the people, you're there to serve the people. So I disagree with the CEO when he said, "Oh, because it's a private business." Even like Brother Konowa was saying, even in the United States here, the private sector is well supported by the government.
The government.
Most time when they fall, because when these people are now, they up and they create jobs. And Mr. Jabba, like he just saying, you gave him $1 or $2 million to start a big project in our country. He's employing Liberians. Liberians will benefit. Besides the food coming to the market, but Liberians are getting job under him. Right. So the reason you see government empower the private sector is because it creates jobs too for the people. Right. It relieve pressure on them. So it's not just about, oh, he making business. Even if he make business, he's a Liberian. Yeah. We should be happy to promote our own people. Right. And that's the point I was making. So at the end of the
So,
day, if even it's not the government, but even these politicians who have the financial capacity to help this brother, somebody can step up. And that alone, the Liberians will recognize, like he was saying, the people, the common people say, hey, take the land, because the way you're thinking is how a good human being should think.
Right.
Any well-meaning Liberian should also follow that person to say, you know what, because I don't think if they even come to Mr. Jawara and say, you know, I will provide a yellow machine, but just give us this in certain time when things are, you know, fine with it. I don't think Mr. Jawara will say no.
No.
You know,
And I'm saying, look, it's not free.
Right.
You use the yellow machine to clear our land. As we produce the food, we pay back your money.
Right. So he laid out of the plans in terms of how he want. He's not telling you, come and give me free stuff, right?
No, nothing free.
Somebody to step up and you know, help you start the process. It's something that's going to benefit the country. So, you know, I'm so disappointed that the politicians, the government, all these people, you know, right, very sad that up to now, Liberia being the oldest nation in our Africa, and it's still there, struggling for rice, everyday rice shortage every day. And because, like Mr. Jabba said, it's like a game. They only care about their pocket and the brown envelope. They don't really care about the people.
Let me just say though, Rosa Pro that.
Like Mr. Jabba and others who want to grow food in the country for our people to benefit. If they really care about the country, they will invest in Mr. Jabba and other Liberians.
Abraham, let me tell you something.
On the market. Thank you, CEO.
So I think everybody just making comment. Nobody's asking Mr. Jabba question.
I just want to ask Mr. Jabba one question. Only one question. I'm coming. Just one question. Let me just ask one question. But I just want to clear a doubt about what this guy said. Russell Pro. So when African was talking, he was not referring to Jenny Medical, but he was referring to Arvin Wisse. A university dropout has been, you know, I was appointed to work as, I don't know what's the position, sir.
That's his position. Konowa. He's a deputy minister for research and technical services at the Ministry of Agriculture.
Right. Even Jenny Medical said she had some kind of corruption scandal on her, but now
Jenny Medical
she should recuse herself from that. Yes, and that was
she gave contract.
My question to Mr. Jabba.
She gave contract to her brother, and they know I went through the PPCC process, so she was indicted by the LACC for doing that, and the president still have her as Minister of Agriculture.
So, Mr. Jabba, just answer the question, then you can go on your second topic. What's the acceptability of your product? Are people really accepting your product, or they are swaying away from it? I really want to know in the market, what's the market acceptance of your product?
When we bring the rest of the market, within a few hours, the rice is gone. The people love the rice, and they will tell you that our rice, the quality is better than the imported rice. It's nutrition. Even dieters in Liberia are recommending our rice. Even when Eugene Fangon was sick, Fangon, the deputy minister for information, Eugene Fangon, when you're sick, the doctor told him to buy a rice. So he called me, he talked to me, I sent him 2 bags, and that's the rice he ate until he got well.
Wow.
You see, doctors in Liberia are recommending our rice because
but Gabriel, they saw it. You're supposed to know, man. Those days when all people playing the rice, man.
Mr. Jabba is not also talking about the pepper production. I saw the pepper production in Bombing County. You're not talking about I want to.
Even onion. How about the onion? Said this, Mr. Jabba. How about the onion? The onion issue. Just expand it a little bit.
Gabriel, you won't be.
I ask a question, brother.
That's the third question.
The people told me that onion.
Let's try to have the discussion in order, gentlemen.
Yeah, at first they told me that onion can grow well in Liberia. So I told them it doesn't make sense. I'm going to try. So I called my boys. We tried the onion, and the onion grew well in Liberia than even in the US. The onion was so big.
Yeah. Man.
I called the guy from how they call it, Liberia News Agency, Coming Weeks. And I said, my man, I want you to go to that farm and report and document everything so Liberians can see it. So Coming Weeks went there, he documented the rice farm, the onion, the pepper, and everything, so that Liberians can know that these things, people have been lying to us. You see, people have been lying to us. You see the pepper, the quantity of pepper that we produce in Liberia, the onion that we produce, the rice we're producing. Kwame, we went there, I even gave him 1 bag of pepper, and I gave him 1 bag of onion. You see, I gave him 1 bag of onion. I even sent Eugene Fangon, I gave Eugene Fangon 1 bag of onion. the red onion with one bag of pepper. I try to make the people to understand, look, we can grow our own food. And if we can grow our own food in Liberia, we'll be able to create jobs for at least 85% of the population. 85% of the population will have job if we start to grow our own food in Liberia. All the boys you call Zocos in the street, you won't find them in the street anymore. They will be at various farms in those counties working, making money for themselves. All we need to do, we take the same clay, build the clay home for them. They live there, like I'm doing in Nima. They just live there, I cook for them every day. They eat, and in the morning they go to work, and I pay them 500 labor day every day. So those guys, they don't even want to leave the farm. They want to work because they are making money and they are eating. They have something for themselves. The other little girl I took from the street in Nima County, she's now building a 4-bedroom house for herself. This is a girl they used to call Zoko. She's building a 4-bedroom house because she's working at the farm. You look at Rwanda. Rwanda invested in agriculture, and today they were able to employ, provide job for more than 70% of the male in the country, up to 80% of the female in the country. See how the country is progressing. See how they are doing better. If we who have the soil, have lakes, rivers, we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have 6 months of rainfall. We have a very young youth population. We got everything. We have skilled people who know the job. We got everything we need to grow our own food, to supply other nations with food, to raise the revenue we need to build our roads, to build our hospitals, to build our schools. We don't need to go out getting on the plane, 50 men on the plane going to borrow $100 million to build road. How can you get on a plane to go borrow $100 million when you're spending around $200 million on the rice? Why can't you just grow the rice and take that $200 million you're spending on the rice to build the road? That's just common sense. If you're spending $200 million on rice, if you produce the rice in the country, you have $200 million that can go towards road. Why will you import some of the egg, chicken feet, chicken neck, chicken hair, all these little things you're importing them? When you can just raise the thing right there in Liberia, you have the land, you have the manpower, everything, and you save millions upon millions of dollars. We're spending more than $500 million every year just on food. Money that could build the country every year. Do you know what I mean? If Liberia can save up to $500 million and produce more food to raise up to $1 billion every year to build our country. So these are the things I've been advocating. These are the things I've been talking about. You can have youth in the street. Not only that, but let's look at law. Let's look at security. If you have those farms in those various counties, and you take all the youth off the street and they are working in those counties, people will be able to move freely at night in Monrovia. People even able to leave their windows open at night. It's just common sense. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jabba, that is what I want to say, right? Gentlemen, we're running out of time. Trust me, we have our second guest already ready to join us. So let me just make this comment, or Mr. Jabba can we also respond. Yeah. You know, let us try to, understand the issue of agriculture too from a different standpoint. There is a business that Mr. Jabba is involved with. I will keep saying it. It is a profitable business. It is true that we have a government we should have a government that should be able to invest into its citizens, that have this kind of an idea, crafted to help its citizens. Our government should be able to support. But let us get this thing also clear, because I don't want for us to dwell with, the physical money of a businessman, saying that why the businessman cannot take his money to invest it into somebody. My brother, a businessman would never want to invest his money somewhere that he know he would never benefit. No businessman on this sun are ever just taking their money and say, okay, I'm giving you 100 million, go and do business. A businessman will want to invest based on percentage. Either I'm investing 10 million in what you're doing and we share 50-50, or I get 40%, you get 60%. So Mr. Jabba need to make up the understanding as to whether he has started making such engagement with business people that they can discuss on percentage. Because since he does not have the capital, these people have the capital. You can go into business with them. Okay, this is why I'm coming, you're coming. This is what I'm doing. You understand? I need so and so amount, and then we'll discuss business. Okay, saying you need so and so amount. Okay, this business I can invest so and so amount of money, but then at the end of the day, I will need 30% or 40%.
All
That's
right.
how people do business.
Okay.
And
I would say today.
again, Mr. Jabba, another thing again,
Mhm.
you're a fine businessman. You are
Mhm.
doing your very best. I will advise that you stop politicizing what you are doing. Continue to do engagement. This government might not be the government to help you, but you don't know the next government could be the government to invest more money in what you're doing. So just continue to try, because I know where we're from. I know our country, Liberia, how we take things to be. What you are saying is the right thing, but people will look at it on a different political standpoint and see that the man is trying to tarnish our government. They are not doing as well as I'm just giving my honest advice as a brother, because I know what I'm saying. So you can go ahead and respond.
All right. Thank you very much. And then I would say here today that if even you have sent me your email, I can send you our partnership agreement form. You can talk to me today and say, look, Armstrong, I can bring you $1 million. This is a share I need. I'm open. I always say I'm open to all Liberians.
Perfect.
All Liberians. My goal is for us to be self-sufficient. It's not about money. I want to leave a legacy. That's all. That children tomorrow will be reading in our history book. This man called Armstrong Jabba was the man who brought prosperity to our country. That's legacy. That's something I will live on. That's my goal. So when it comes to having percentage in the business, I'm open to any business person. I'm open to any Liberian. Even if you want more percentage than me, say, I'll be happy to see result. My thing is result. I just want to make sure that we can produce our own food so that our people can start suffering. That's it. And with the agriculture minister, sis Mill, and she's a good lady. She's trying to work with me too to see how well she can help me. But in the agriculture ministry, there, there's all kind of things can happen there. So, but she's trying her best to see how well she can help us. So I want to really appreciate her too. She called me the last time and last week said, I'm sure I'm trying. I'm gonna put things in, I'm putting things through for you to see how well we can help you. So I want to take the time to appreciate her too. You see. So my brother, that's it. I'm open to any Liberian. My goal is for us to grow our own food, let our people have jobs, let our people start suffering. That's all. I'm open. Anybody that
Thank
will come and say, look, I'm bringing yellow machine to clear the 20,000 acre for you, but I need 30% in the business, I'm open. Anyone that will come in and say, Armstrong, I have tractor, I have this, I can bring this, and I need certain percentage in the group in the business, I'm open. I'm ready to engage with any Liberian, any business person from out there who's willing to invest in the business and need certain percentage. People have to make profit. People have to, when they spend the money, they need money back. So I'm
that's
open.
and most
And
people will try to reach out to you.
let me
You
go.
try
Let
to
me
reach out to
say.
people with those agreements, and then you
Let me
see,
say this. Let me say this to you too. You know why they call America corporate America? Because it's all about corporations, businesses, building the economy, and the government is there to help them. All of these businesses you see here in Louisiana where I live. I came from Liberia as a poor man. I came with $10 in my pocket from Liberia. $10.
and
When I get
one important question that a businessman will want to ask you, just in case they want to invest their money. For
yeah.
example, you have been to this business for the past 8 years. They
Mhm.
want to ask, like, Mr. Java, you have been to the business for 8 years. Last year, what was your gross profit? Your gross profit. That could be some of the
My
questions.
brother, anyone I'll give any data they need whatsoever, I will provide it. But I can tell you the truth. If I provide information, concerning the business we are doing in Liberia,
So can you
anyone,
tell us for the benefit of the audience, what was your gross profit last year?
oh man, I can't go to that one right now. You want to do business with me? Come, let's talk about business. You don't tell us you come
No.
create.
I mean, these are things that could attract investors that are watching right now and say, "Oh, but if that guy can do so, have so and so profit last year, I can reach out to him. Don't overlook the platform. This is the worst.
Or you trying for me to create a competitor for myself? That's why.
No. These are not hearing. Information. No. What's a gross profit last year? These are regular things from other businesses that you
I don't
see.
want to. I don't want to shoot from the head. I believe in paperwork. So
Okay,
your
no,
email,
I can't.
will be better. Yeah.
Okay, okay. You
Your
you are right. So, gentlemen, we have limited time. So let us go around the table once more. Just 10 seconds to ask Mr. Jabba a last question or make comment. Then we'll get our parting comment from you. So let's start with you, T Max.
Yeah, let me go on you a little bit, CEO. I know you're trying to protect your political interests and you're
Look
putting
at
around the bush and trying to do all these little
where you
jargon stuff.
go,
But
baby.
I'll be honest with you, anything that has to do with bettering the life of our people, I think our
Yeah,
political leaders, because you're making it to seem like I'm a private guy living my private life, I'm a millionaire. I can call Mr. Jabba and ask him, hey, what is the interest I would get? What is this and the rest of it? What are you talking about? Because I'm a
right.
private guy. I don't care about anything. I'm private. I got my money. I'm living. But if I ever decide, say, hey, I want to run for office and I want to serve my people, everything about your country, your people should be number one. And that's the
Right.
point I'm making. So you can try to protect your political leader and beat around the bush and try to create a scenario here. I get it. I see you.
we the political leader. We the
I know
political leader again, my
where
man.
you're coming from. So we'll talk about that later. But Mr. Java, thank you very much for the job you're
My man,
doing. And
baby.
I know, it's frustrating sometimes. Agriculture is a huge thing. And to even have that thought, to feel like, hey, we have to grow our own food instead of importing. I
Right.
mean, any well-meaning Liberians should be very excited to get on board,
Right.
regardless the interest, the profit, the whatever, the money, but doing things right in Liberia, like, hey, you know what? This is our own country. Like, we're growing pepper, we're growing rice, we're growing onion, like all the things you name here. That should motivate any Liberian to want to get into it, because this stuff has been going on for almost 75 years now.
Right.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Our country, we are at a point now where we should start changing the dynamics on how we do things and stop this, repeating the same thing with no result. So, Mr. Jabba, I want to say thank you. Keep going. And I know one day, somebody will listen, somebody will think about, their people, and we might have the right leaders somewhere near in the future, and things will change. But thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you, Tima. Let's go to you, Alfred, and we'll come to you, Gabriel. Alfred, any comment, last comment or question? They give you 10 seconds to do that, then we'll go to Gabriel. Alfred, we can't hear you. You are muted. Alfred, you are muted.
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. In terms of infrastructure, how many warehouses you have around the country?
We have a little warehouse in Nima where we are growing rice. We have one in Maryland where we are growing rice. So that's two.
Oh, okay.
And what are the capacity now? Because when you're saying warehouse, let's know the
yeah. What's the capacity of your warehouse? Because our people still importing the pepper from Guinea and what have you. That's why I'm asking you. Because I guess you're not only into rice production, you are also into pepper production and what have you. So that's why I'm asking you how many warehouses you have in around the country, and what are your targeted area? Because I know Lofa County to be one of the heavily producing county. So do you have any warehouse, or do you have any plan in Lofa County?
Thank you very much. This is what we are doing. We are targeting 5 important counties. Bon, Lofa, Nima, Maryland. You see Maryland area. From Maryland, we can touch Stano, Grand Cru, or how they call the other place, River G, and River says, and how they call the other and Grand G there. So we have our base there in Maryland. So what I did was I brought some guys together from River G, and we'll be having a meeting this week again. So they will be representing us in those counties where we'll be having our farms. You see, our goal is to have farm in all 15 counties by the end of 2023. We are now in 7. By 2023, we want to be in all 15 counties. That's what we are doing, so that each county can be able to produce their own food. That's my vision. That's what.
So that in follow up to that answer you just gave, what is your projection in terms of county production what is a particular produce that coming from each county?
Or we are targeting what the people can eat. The food, we're not growing to cocoa, coffee, or whatsoever. We're only growing the food our people. We only food our people can eat: rice, or edibles, plantain, cassava, the kind of vegetables to eat. Those are the things we are focusing on so that we can have enough food in the country.
No, the question I'm asking you, I'm asking in terms of having a margin to say, okay, yes, let's say, for example, Sino County, right? We know Sino to be place that it can grow, for example, cucumbers, right? So
I'm getting to that. Let me learn quick. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that we can produce food in all 15 counties. So our target year is within the next 3 years, we should be able to produce at least 25 to 30% of the food people consume in those counties in 3 years. That's our target.
Okay. Thank you.
At
Thank
least
you. Let's go to you. Are you done, or you still flowing? Go ahead. Still flowing. Go ahead.
25 to 30% in those, and we'll make it. We'll do it in 3 years' time.
So yes, again, I want to join my colleagues on the show today to say thank you for all that you do. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep connecting, because in every society there will always be people who don't see beyond the present reality. And someone like you who is doing tremendously well in your area, we just want to say thank you so much for what you do, and keep engaging. One of these days, something will happen. We are very sure something will happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We started with 3 acres. Now we have more than 20,000 acres. That's progression. Things will happen. And let me say this: even without the help of the government, even without the help of international NGO, we were still going to be able to grow food for the country. The only thing here is that it's going to take maybe 7 years on our own. But with the help of government, international NGO, it will take 3 years. But without the government or international NGO, it will take us 7 years. We're still going to do it. Anyway, we're still going to produce food for Liberia.
Okay, thank you. First, let's welcome our sister Yasini Mountain on the show. We will be taking on the second section as we try to climb out the discussion with the Java. Welcome, our sister. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Lincoln. Good morning, Masakwe. Good morning, Alfred. Good morning, another Masakwe, Ibrahim. Good morning, Armstrong. I want to say thank you for what you do. I've actually bought some of his rice before for my family. Like he noted, just adding my voice. The moment the rest comes out, it disappears. Sometimes you have to wait.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes you have to wait. If I may add my voice to the rest issue, I think that the few questions I wanted to ask. First, I need to understand what is his company financial statement? Can we find it? How much did he gross next year? Because if you're asking people to come and join you, no, Nyla, I'm like, baby, we need to know, or if you privately send it to private individual to understand your financial standing, how you've improved. I'm a business major, by the way. And in the business arena, we're taught not to just give our money or put our money in the safety hole, right? There have to be some kind of return on investment if we're going to. And another thing is, it is the responsibility of the government to support, because we eat every day. We don't have to take bath every day, okay? But we eat every day. So to make sure they can support the citizens, there have to be loans, and especially if they're credit worth it. But they also need to subsidize, okay? We can't live off of the land our people did. We just can't. But that's another story and another day. If you guys are invited me to be a part of this platform, because I wanted to understand the business sense from that angle, not from the agriculture, just from the agricultural angle, because there's money involved here. There's decision process that is involved here, meaning logistics, strategic management. Where do we need to focus on, and all of these things to be a part to kind of ask the question where maybe the everyday person will ask, how do I get it? especially with our weather. And Lincoln says something that is really powerful. I think it's Lincoln or Abraham. We have an area with soil. We are blessed. We are blessed, but we need vision, and we need to invest in that vision. America, farmers are millionaires in America. The
Yeah.
government give them subsidies for them to feed their country. So they are not hanking on and begging other people, although they import other things because they do trade, agreement with other people. So where they have strength in the produce that they need the most, where they think if they invest in, they're not going to make that much money, okay, and they import them. Those things that maybe that's what we need to look at. But I'm here for a different topic. I can talk about this. You want to reach out to Dr. Joma, who has a PhD in agriculture. He worked for this government for 4 years. They have never paid him. Okay. And literally, there's somebody that you want to talk to, since we're talking about Liberia and investment in agriculture and feeding ourselves, because that's the only way the nation can really be independent. Thank you.
You're talking about Dr. Juma from Cari?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you there for that welcome message. And Gabriel, let's go over to you. I know you got a question or comment for our brother Jabba, and then we can get a parting comment as we continue with our second phase of discussion.
So, really, let me say that I don't really have a question. Let me just say to Mr. Jabba, this is a profitable and really, really patriotic venture you are undertaking. Let me really, really thank you. Like you said, you are soliciting, you are soliciting attention. Also, you are looking for investors. Uh, or I can say from a business perspective as well, people will not just come and invest in your business. They want to look at the profitability ratio, that how profitable your business is, the debt ratio, and the solvency ratio. I mean, the debt ratio. I mean, your ability to pay debt. Maybe you can tell people, you give it to loan. That's it, the banks and all the things. Look at the solvency ratio, like the sister said, your financial statement, your income statement, all those things. So you might just want to package all of them. The market ratio, like I talk about the acceptability of your product, how acceptable are your product when you take it to the markets. So these are things that people will look at. As for me personally, I know that you are growing rice. You are not growing, you are not producing cylinders. I mean, I can wear one cylinder for 6 months, but rice, if I eat rice today, I have to eat rice tomorrow. So that particular product is something that will be, on sale all the time. So I think you should just package all of that and just try to sell. I think you will really, really have investors. This is a very great job. I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you on that. So let me conclude with my final question to Mr. Jabba, then we can get his parting comment. So there's a question I have to ask you, Mr. Jabba. You've been operating for the past 80 years. Like I was trying to make it very clear here, and our sister also mentioned that it is a responsibility of the government to help its citizens, that are trying their best, to feed, to do business, to feed its people. But with individual businessmen, it is not a responsibility that you have to go into an agreement with them. Like all of what you listed, Gabriel, that's true. These are things that they have to be able to look into as to see if they can put their money in there. So, Mr. Jabba, for the past 8 years you've been into the business, which one of the time you really have a shortfall and why?
Thank you very much. I've been in business for 8 years. I've never borrowed 1 cent from any bank. I've never received 1 cent from any national NGO. I've never received 1 cent from the Liberian government. For 8 years, I've been in business without debt. Zero debt. 8 years. That alone should tell you that the business that I'm involved in is profitable.
So all of the 8 years, you are just being successful. The first year, the second year of the 8 years, is that what you're saying? There was no difficulties where you had some shortfall, even if you did not credit your own money.
Let me get for the 8 years I've been doing business in Liberia, I've never credit money from any bank. I've never received money from any NGO, local, international. I've never received even 1 cent from the Liberian government for 8 years. There are some difficulties. And what are the difficulties I will fix? First, number one, Liberians that come to invest with me, that want to be part.
Thank you
When they join you, as soon as they have little difficulty, somebody will say, "Oh, I want my money back. My friend getting married. I want to buy my wedding clothes." Oh, my rent is due. Can you please give me my money back? I want to pay my rent. Can I borrow some money from my investment? I want to pay my rent. Oh, things are hard on me. The thing is, our people don't even know what they call long-term investment. When they give you $200-300, as soon as the rent is due, they come back for the money. When they give you $200-300, as soon as they're about to have a wedding to buy clothes, they come back for the money. That's the number one thing I fixed in my business. That's the number one difficulty. Second, people to trust on the ground. Our people, you have to have iron hands to run a business in Liberia. Because people you trust will let you down. But because I'm a very tough guy with iron hand, I have my system set up and everybody have to follow the letter. You can't do anything other than what I wrote on paper. I wrote it on paper and give it to everybody. Follow what on the paper. We have a plan. Everybody have to follow the plan. Nobody do their own thing. So with the iron hand that I have, making sure that people follow the plan that is written, follow the strategies that I put together without bringing in stuff that will cause us to fall back. That's why you see we are progressing every year from 3 acre to 5 acre, from 5 acre to 300 acre, from 300 acre to 1,300 acre, from 1,300 acre to 20,000 acres. Within a very short period, you see the progression. You see, so the business is profitable. Working with Liberia, you got to be tough. That's the area that you need to work on. That's the area I catch a lot of difficulty. Now, when it comes to debt and profit and all the kind of stuff, the profit is there because as soon as you bring the pepper, you don't even have to bring the pepper to the market. The market will come to the farm and pick the pepper themselves and pay you right there. You don't have to bring the onion to the market. You don't have to bring the tomato to the market. The rice, we only bring rice to Monrovia because there are people who order the rice and will have to take it to their relative in Monrovia. But right on the farm in Nima County, the people can come there and take the rice. So the thing here is that we are not producing food in the country. There is need. There is always need. The people need food. People have to eat every day. So farming, money is there. But as an individual and few Liberians working with me, we don't have enough money to produce more. That's what the problem is. So if we can have Liberians who will come in and say, look, I'm sure let's look at your financial statement. Let's look at over the years, for the past 8 years, the progression, what we have done. Let's see what we have done. And then based on what we see here, we can be encouraged to invest with you. I'm open to all Liberians. I'm open. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Jabba. So let's just give you 10 seconds to get your parting comment as we continue our broadcast because our sister
Thank you very
much to launch.
I want to thank you, Lincoln, and Abraham, and the rest of the crew, my sister Yashini, every one of you. Thank you guys for bringing me on and to be able to explain to you actually what is happening when it comes to the structure of rice in the country, and also what is happening in the agricultural sector. Let me say this to every one of you. Anyone who invests in what we are doing, your children and your grandchildren will never be poor. Let me say it again. Anyone who invests in what I'm doing, your children and your grandchildren will never be poor. Yes, it is true that it is difficult from the beginning, but in 1 year from now, there will be people who want to join us and it will be late. Because at that time, we have already reached the level where we are at in 1 year period. And for people to come in to become part of agriculture Liberia, there will be no space left. What we are doing here, this corporation will become a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Multi-billion, not billion, multi-billion. Out of Liberia, we'll be exporting juice, we'll be exporting food, we'll be exporting crab, crawfish, chicken, cow meat, goat meat, pig meat. We'll be offering all those things out of Liberia in time to come. It's going to take a while, but these are things we want to do gradually as we move on. But we are starting with rice. From rice, we go on to vegetables and other things that people eat, and then we get to chicken, we get to raising other animals and stuff. But I can say to all Liberians that those who will invest with us will not regret. Your children and your grandchildren will never suffer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother Armstrong Jala. Have a wonderful time and continue doing what you're doing best and try to reach out there to more investors to make this dream come true. Have a wonderful time, my brother. God bless you.
Thank you very Thank
Okay, so over to you, our sister Yasina Mountain. Beye. It's a pleasure to have you on here. Our second discussion was centers around. I think I sent you a flyer about concerned Liberian in South Korea that stand with the uh, the victims who was allegedly raped by our Liberian brothers who came on a diplomatic mission here to Korea. So you are a feminist, I must say that, and you're also an advocate. You know, but before I can break the news about our two brothers, we will let to get a comment from you also. How do you feel? How was it like when you heard about, you know, diplomats that came on a diplomatic mission being involved into such case? What I being confirmed or not, but just about the news, you know. How did you feel? You know.
And as a person who navigate this water every day, for me, it was disappointing, but not surprising. Um, Realistically speaking, if you as parents, so look at your country as your parent. If the house does not nurture and disciplines the child, eventually, whatever the child does at home that they've gotten away with it, they're going to do it overseas. Remember now, this is not our first exposure in the last 9 months. We had the Liberian ambassador accredited to New York. We had the Liberian embassy in Nigeria. We have the Liberian embassy now in a Liberian in Korea. First of all, let me commend you.
No, there's no embassy here in Korea. These
Well,
guys.
you have canceled it, right?
Yeah, let
You
me
have
just make
canceled
some
it, right?
clarity. No. Let me just make some clarity.
Okay.
The guys involved, they came on and
Lincoln, I know that they're there for the MMOI. I mean, therefore,
yeah.
I came back and
They are not attached to any consulate or any embassy here in
no,
Asia.
no. And Lincoln, I get that. All right.
Okay.
Even if we have MSA, we don't have MSA. That's why I came back. So we have Liberian in Korea. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I came back and cut myself because they were there on a mission, on the maritime mission. Okay. I read all through of that. In fact, the gentleman Brown, I know Brown. We have advocated against Brown. Okay. Not once, twice. The last one that we did was a little girl living with him, okay, that he allegedly raped and impregnated. Not only did he rape her, he sodomized her, okay? And his wife, okay, came at all of us. There were a group of us. We talked about this. Listen, Liberian, and let me first say to the Liberians living in Korea, thank you for your swift decision to come out and speak against this. But I would say, like Obama said, most men don't listen to women. That's just a culture across the world. Men listen to their fellow men. Liberian men like you guys have to get involved because this is an epidemic that has taken over our country. Thank you, mommy. All right. This is an epidemic that's taking over our country. This is not a joke. All right. Now, I wake up every morning, literally, to a woman being abused, a young man being abused, a child being abused, even mother abusing their children. Okay? And nothing happened. What do we say? The parents compromise. Let me say this to you. You're in Korea. I'm sure it happens in Korea too. In America, my own children that I'm responsible for. If something happened to my child and I don't call the police and they find out, I'm going to jail. Okay, I'm aiding and abetting. And if I call the police it becomes the state immediately take over the case of my minor. Okay, it becomes the state voice to whoever committed the crime. I can't go and say, you know what, I dropped the case. I can't go and say, giving money to how you call it. The children is that when there's an injury to the state, it is embarrassing. Lincoln, Abraham, Gabriel, and Alfred. It shows how naked and lawless that we are. And it's embarrassing for me as a Liberian woman, as a mother, as a wife, and as a sister to boys. It is embarrassing and
Okay.
scary at the same time.
Okay, so let me just give the breaking news firstly, because some people did not understand from which standpoint, in which we went to Busan, because this incident occurred in Busan City. Hope the war is watching, because every statement I'm going to make on here, I'll be held responsible for everything I'm going to say. We
Thank you.
managed to get a permit from the Korean Police Authority, where we could peacefully gather as a concerned Liberian in Korea to make a strong statement also in support of the Liberian government. So this incident occurred with our two government officials, and we all know that the issue of rape in Liberia is a second degree felonious crime. So the rape case in Liberia, the law of Liberia on the issue of rape is very strong as compared to Korea. Imagine for it to be a felonious crime, it is not an easy thing. Second degree felonious crime. So our President George Manawiya, had declared rape as a public enemy.
A national
Imagine.
emergency.
So when this incident occurred, the Bureau of Maritime came out to condemn the act, and they said they are going to be in cooperation with the Korean authority to investigate these guys. Later, that we see also a statement from the Minister of Gender condemning the act and asking for the dismissal of these guys. So we, as Liberian residing in this country, which happens to be our second home, we decided to also make the Korean people to understand that Liberians are decent people, and in which our president has stand strong against the issue of rape. So it shows that nowhere in the world that Liberians support this act. So we stand with the victims, and also we stand with the perpetrator, and let justice be done for all. That means both the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, and the other victim should be what? Given due process. So at the end of the day, from the Korean media, our two brothers have been charged sexually assaulting two middle school girls. I share the social media platform with a lot of people, so I want to believe that most of us we follow the news. They have been charged preliminarily by the police, because you understand, before you go to court, you have to be escorted by the police charge. The police have charged them because the police carry on the preliminary investigation, and then they be able to go over to the prosecutor, for judgment. What are going to be 1 time, 2 time, where they get the lawyers and what have you. So that have been the preliminary investigation carried on by the police after they have done all of the forensic investigation, which of course our brothers agree that they had an affair with those girls. It's not inhaling. They themselves agree on that. So looking at the girls being a middle school student,
They're
which of course,
underage.
underage,
Baby.
and the Korean law states the age of consent is age 20. For Liberia, is age 18.
18.
So age 20, when a child is less than age 20, whether they agree, and even if you did that, there was no harm, it is still against you. It is against the law. It is still a crime. So far, so good. That's where we are right now. That's the charge that's on these guys, and they are pending judgment. Perhaps they could be free from it, or they could not be free from it, because it has to be with the lawyer. I mean, the judge. The judge gave the final decisions on this case. The police did the part already, and they are no more in position. I mean, the police they are no more at the police station. They are no more in care of the police anymore. The police have already charged and forwarded them to court. So now it's left with the court now to continue this whole story and then find an end. But that's a charge that is already on them. So that's what I'm going right now. So looking at the issue of our diplomats, and there is a strong word that we also receive because our brothers have been asking, for his diplomatic immunity. And this was also very clear in how much our brother Moses Owen Brown, who is a diplomat and the other fellow is an official, Moses Owen Brown, he is not a diplomat assigned to this country. He does not work in this country as a diplomat. He worked in another country as a diplomat, but he came on a diplomatic mission here. So, with that, a diplomatic immunity could not be given to him. If you read the Korean Times, it is on their website. That was also what was stated there because that's what he had been advocating for. He needed his diplomatic immunity, but it could not be given to him simply because he does not work here as a diplomat. If, for example, he works here with, in the Liberian embassy and what have you, just definitely, because when you go to a country as a diplomat to work there, trust me, that letter of credence have to be submitted to the government. That making them aware that you work here as a diplomat or you've been assigned as a diplomat. But he came on a different mission, which of course he was on assigned here, and that's the reason that could not be given to him. Long story short, Liberia is our country. We love our country so much. And we understand that whenever these things happen, people that we expect to be a role model to the youngest one are involved in such allegation, it becomes so troublesome. It becomes so disturbing. But there's a question I'll have to ask you, my sister, before we can go around the table to my brothers and to make comments on this or ask you a question too. Like you stated the issue of what, and okay, slow to, let me just say that also again. It is also in the media with what our sister just said that this guy have been involved with this act. It is also within the Korean media that similar thing happened like this in Liberia. I was so shocked when I read the news. How did the people get to know that this guy did similar thing to that in Liberia? It is in their news. And now that is what it's saying. How can a government know that someone was involved with such case and then appoint them to such position? It is in the media. Hope I can share the English version of most of you guys who want it. Just inbox me and I will share with you guys. You can read it out and check it on the website of the media. So that was also shocking to me. So when you just mentioned that he had been involved into this issue again, it rings bells in my ear. So, what do you think? What chance does our brother stand, on this case?
So how did that get to the Korean media? Digital footprints. And that's what we teach our children. Anything that we post is called the information highway. When it posts, whether you take it down or not, somebody got it. It's in the system, it never leaves. Any hacker can pull it by pulling your information or your Facebook account. So that's digital footprint. And besides, like I said, we carried that story for weeks, although the issue of rape in Liberia is fluid. It's on every day, literally. But some were hit so hard to the point that we were just, especially people in a position of power, all right? In the midst of all of this thing that's were going on, especially with this little girl being raped, and this little girl lives with him. I think it's somewhere around the FE area. I can pull the information because it's still on my page, all right?
Yeah.
And that's within that time that he got an assignment. Just within that time, okay? So that's a problem. What should happen to them? I think they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Okay, that's as a mother and as an advocate and as somebody who stands, because rape is a crime that the victim never get healed from. You take away the ability to trust, especially if you're in a position of trust, like somebody you live with, somebody older than you, somebody in your office. Okay, it's something I'm gonna go veer off a little bit. I grew up here. Literally, I've been here before I turned 21, and I always say it to people,
Wow.
because the environment that we grew up in dictates otherwise. until you get to a so-called have normal society and understand you are not supposed to be violated. I remember this group, I used to go spend time with my aunt in Matadi Estate. And there was this girl who had disability, could not talk. She had speech impairment. All right. And these guys, and I found out later because I was a teenager, because I didn't know what they were talking about that time, right? And they would say, look at that other one. We had party with her last night. We had party with her last night, but I didn't know what it was. Okay, this is in the 80s. This is not 2000, 2022. I want Liberian people to understand this. And they will laugh about it. And this grandmother, because she can't talk, she won't say who it is, or mom will take her to the hospital. And these things, those days that was shame, we keep it a secret, you know, and the parents will say that our boys being boys. It's not boys being boys. Then when I came here as the refugee became to come to America, I would hear men say, look at the other one, we're not partying with her. Look at the other one, who won that other one? So you violate them. Then when they're older, you don't want to deal with them because that's all they know. I hear Liberian men saying that other men say Liberian women are too loose. But I will tell you, according to my particular time that I have studied in the last 7 years, and we gather in a room with maybe 100 to 150 people. Over 60% of women in that room have been touched inappropriately somehow, either from their childhood or in the teenage years. So we have, like President Weah said, and I wish he could do something about it. We have an epidemic that is going on in Liberia called rape. He declared a state of emergency. He said he will make funds available. I wish he could do that. All right. I wish he could recall these people and prosecute them. I wish he could call Kimaya, the ambassador, that will recall that America said they didn't want him here, and prosecute him. That's the only way, because if your child throws tantrum, if your child does what they're not supposed to do, and you just say, don't do it next time, they're going to do it next time. But I hope that they get prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they should be given due process because we need to know. But let me say this to Liberian people. In places like Korea or in the developed world, all right, when people find a crime, they go through with it, whether you got money or not. We got lawmakers sitting in jail here in America. We got our state major in jail here in Georgia for committing crimes. All right. So maybe this will help us rethink our decisions as Liberians, but I think they should be prosecuted. They won't yet. You can't go to nobody and say the parents compromise, because the parents, it's not in the jurisdiction of the parents anymore.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's hear you, T Max. You have comment or question to ask T Max on the issue? T Max, are you there? You are muted.
You are muted, T Max.
Thank you. Thank you, our sister Cindy. But did Cindy go off?
No, she's there.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So again, thank you for speaking out. It is actually an embarrassing situation to our country. We know we come from a society where those things happen, and sometimes they've been shielded, and people use their positions, their power to cover it up. But you Yasini, you being a female, and like you said, you've seen some of these things, you heard some of these stories, and you are advocate. What are some of the advocacy that you guys are pushing in terms of being in touch with the gender ministry? Because we know these things happen on a daily basis in our country. What are some of the steps you guys are taking in terms of working with the gender ministry and the government to make sure that our girls are safe?
I think I'm blacklisted in the Liberian government. I'm assuming I am. Okay, they won't talk to me. I'm too strong on the government, I'm told. I'm the reason that the government, this is happening, or this other person is the reason. If you know that I am the second woman in the history of Liberia since her inception or independence to testify on behalf of the people. They say I testify against the government. I testify on behalf of the people. And this vindicates my thought process and my experience. All right. Because when we talk about rape, we talk about rape from the wall. We talk about rape every day in Liberia, especially people in position of power. We graduated from the thought process of godpa. Godparents are meant to be second parents. They're not meant to molest you. Massacre, we are rating everywhere, the UN. In fact, I work with Grace, Grace Greer in Philly. All right. We protested in front of the Liberian embassy. We went to protest to the Liberian embassy. They wouldn't let me use the bathroom. Partner that they just took out wouldn't let me use the bathroom. Okay. When he finally agreed, I told him I didn't want to use the bathroom in front of my own embassy. I'm saying it live so everybody can hear, and I said it before. In fact, it's recorded. Okay, we are called them out. The 3-day protest that was staged in Liberia in 3 days, 2.5 years ago. Okay, we were part of that. Besides, the little girl that was ripped, she was 3 years old. They took a razor blade and cut her to be able to fit inside of a baby. So our team and other teams got together to bring awareness. 3 days. The president sent a note and called the children and said, I'm going to give an initial $2 million. We're going to go ahead and bring testing kits. We're going to do this. Majority of the time, we have to spend our own money. These kids, when they're ripped, they take them to the clinic. The clinic will not take them. We have to send money. I remember a 16-year-old was ripped and they took her to the hospital. Let Lord God, the person that ripped her, she already had STD. They won't treat her for $20. They won't treat her. So we have to send money to Diaspora Women for Change and Oxygen Project. All right. And now what they do, if the parents call us, they come, gender comes and take them, they call your safe home. Then they isolate them, then you are not able to talk to them. And the parents don't talk. Sometimes you get somebody that Solomon George or Akaras Gray, if they're in their district, they go there and tell them, don't talk to them yet because they're making our government look bad. My job is not to make my government look bad. My job is to protect the future. All right. Women that are raped never recover. Those who find love in them get to live with it. Got to be patient with them. You live with it every day of your life till you're taken away. Okay. Your ability to trust. And some people act differently. Some people become just sleep around because that's what they know. So
yes,
we are trying to work with the government. The government does not want to work with us. They call us troublemakers. So Massacre, I don't know. Tell me, how do we? This is the first or the second time that I heard what were name Peace City issue a statement. This is the first or the second, in fact, the second time. Have you heard about Nas Baby, the little girl that was ripped and sodomized at the Liberian embassy?
no.
You never heard about that?
We heard with that. Yeah, we heard
For
that.
months, the father
Just
went from
delivered.
agency to agency, even reached out to the president. We went on Spoon 3 weeks. We published. We called up to the gender minister. She didn't call. She didn't even call or come on the show to say what she's doing. The next time the Liberian Congress called, and the men were making fun. The videos are out there. I'm an individual. As an activist, my job is to bring light to social ill that can be changed by the government. The information is available. People in power, policies, maker, decision maker, people that we love with power, it's their duty to make sure that the law works, that our children are protected, that our women and our nation is protected.
Thank you. Thank
CEO,
you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wanted to say something, right? So if the president declared rape as a national whatever he calls it, and they're not willing to work with advocates to speak on behalf of these ills in society, and they shut people off because they think that government will look bad, how can we make change?
That's why we're here. That's why we're in Korea. That's why New York, America sent our ambassador home. That's why our embassy in Nigeria is being embarrassed. That's why we as a nation, everything that's bad for Black people, the word amplify it, right? Now, if you guys don't stand up, you go somewhere, people see you, they will start pulling their children away from you. And you don't blame them. because
Right.
negative news run faster than positive.
That's true.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's hear from you, Gabriel. Then we'll go to Afra.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think there's a very sensitive issue. So
Very.
from my point, I think we cannot deal with the issue by being so biased and hypocritical. I think Liberia is a country where people embrace rapists and even nurture them and send them out to go and rape. That's my personal opinion. I don't care how people
Wow.
look at it. Because the problem here is that look at the Maxwell Kimia. That man has an allegation of rape over his head. Has he been
Many.
called to recuse himself? He has never. Not Beje daughter in Nigeria. Not Beje daughter, not Beje complain of his daughter being raped. The I know Sedita, the gender minister. Did she say anything about it? Nothing. Her labor still see up. And a 13-year-old girl met her untimely death by a rapist. She was raped. What did the gender minister say? She didn't say anything. Are you getting me? So how can we say, okay, look at a man or Moses Owen Brown, a man who glaringly lacked personal ethics. There's a difference between personal ethics and professional ethics, right? Personal ethics, how you take care of yourself, how you control yourself, how you regulate yourself. If you cannot do those things, you can never and ever fit in any professional setting. You look at a man who lacks personal ethic and you send him abroad to go. You think that man will align with any professional? He will fit in any professional organization? He can never. So I can say the president is complicit in this crime that happened in South Korea. He's a participant because he look at this man. He has a rape allegation on his head, and he still went and appointed him. So the man came out and committed the act here. Then we want to be saying, oh, Liberians are people. No, I work with Koreans. I've been with Koreans. I know Koreans are very intuitive. They are very, very much analytical. You think Koreans
Yep.
are looking at how to be serious people? They're not looking at how to be serious people. They are just going to apply their rules and regulations to make sure that those perpetrators are brought to book according to the Korean law. So if you like it, go stand in front of the Korean house. You say we are in empathy, we want justice. Koreans are not going to look at you people because we are not serious people. Like what the CEO said. I mean, they look at the issue. They knew that rape allegations were hanging over the man's head. Still, the president went and nominated or appointed him as an ambassador. He gone. Now he has become a global rapist. And you think that, people will not think that the president sent the man or the president is in the know of this. And secondly, let me say this. As for me, if I want to, if I really, really want to speak against something, I let us speak against it holistically. I don't let it be sentimental or partial about it. When I hear people say that Moses Owen Brown, or the two guys, they stigmatize Liberia or in South Korea, I think it becomes laughable to me. It becomes laughable to me. I stay here 6 years, and I can tell you, the name Liberia have been stigmatized. The name Liberia is not one of the names that you think people are taking seriously here. We used to have a visa-free program. Yeah, me, I came on a visa-free. The only thing I needed was authentic invitation because of the close bilateral agreement we have with South Korea. But let me tell you something. Most Liberians here.
Gabriel,
No,
you
listen to me.
No, listen and listen.
I'm not diving out of the issue. What I'm saying,
No,
listen now.
Lincoln, let him talk, let him be honest. Let's have this honest conversation. This is a break on our nation.
It's a honest conversation, brother. Don't cut me off.
No, I'm not cutting you off. But I want to put you on track. We are discussing about a specific issue that has to do with rape.
Yeah,
It's
the same crime issue we are talking about.
Gabriel, we are discussing.
Let me lay my thought, please. I'm not going to be specific. Listen to me, my man. I'm an analytical person. I'm not going to be specific. I'm only trying to tell you that If we want to agitate against evil, we shouldn't be biased about it.
Okay,
Oh, listen,
Gabriel, listen to Lincoln. Let's stay on track. I'm going to invite you to my
I know
show.
from where you coming
Gabriel,
from.
I'm going to invite you and other men, maybe the rest of you, I can invite you to my platform because this is where and get your opinion from that side. I don't want to put
Okay. In conclusion,
that's okay.
Let me just conclude. Okay, wait now. Let me just conclude. When I see you, let me just conclude. Let me just conclude by saying that,
and that would be cool.
I come in. Okay, anyway, I'm not going there, but let me just conclude by saying.
You got to talking about something different here, brother. We'll spend all the
but
time.
What you mean? But you gave me chance, brother. This are open air. You can't give me chance to talk.
It's an open air, but let's restrict the conversation, my brother.
But we now, Masekwe, what am I talking here about?
I'm not saying something bad, but you are deviating from the topic.
I'm not deviating. We are agitating against unethical behavior, and I'm still talking. I'm saying why we are doing this. We should not be hypocritical and sentimental about it. Are you getting me? Look, let me tell you something. Let me just say that as much as we are peeved about that, we agitate against it. It is a bad thing. But I believe that some Liberians in South Korea do not have the moral rectitude to even put mouth on Moses Owen Brown. People who come out and say, "Oh, the man stigmatized our country. The man did this. The man did that." Moses Owen Brown was not the reason for which they canceled or restricted our visa freeze in South Korea. He was not the one. There are so many crimes that have been taking place here, but most of the people, look, if we had started earlier by agitating against it, I'm not sure this thing was going to be happening. But we sit down, we nurture it, we embrace it. Then when it comes to the international level, now we want to be portraying ourselves to be good people. So let me just say that without being specific, Moses Owen Brown, I'm very, very pleased with the attitude, but he's not the only Liberian that have done something to stigmatize Liberians in South Korea. They need Liberians in South Korea. As soon as you call Liberian, I mean, people know who we are here. So nobody should come and sit there and can say, oh, Moses Owen Brown, the man raped, the man dead. People want to show they are showed up. Liberians are the reason for which today our visa are restricted. We don't come here on visa free. So he's not the cause. So we should be very, very much unbiased. If you want to say, if you want to preach against unethical behavior, you have to be impartial and very, very much, and do it holistically, rather than being selective. Thank you so much.
Since you're saying it before you respond or before, because I think it was just comment like Gabriel made. Let me try to make just short clarity for 10 seconds.
I didn't go in detail, but when you want for us to go in detail, then we'll go in detail.
Gabriel,
because you come in. If you want to kind of rebut my statement, I didn't go in detail because you said we shouldn't go in detail.
Gabriel, I gave you the time at the end of the day you spoke, right?
I didn't go in detail. You restricted me, so I just.
Now let me talk. You already spoke, and I gave you the time. I was trying to inject, and you could not listen. And you wanted to speak, so go ahead, and you did your part. But let me just make clarity on your shortly. I was fully involved with the concerned Liberian issue. Let me tell you something. There is no country in the world that do not have bad people. Even in the South Korea that we live in, imagine a country that can put its ex-president in prison for corruption. It tells you that ugly things happen all around the world. It is the first time since I've been in Korea, since I've been hearing Liberian coming to Korea for a Liberian diplomat to be involved into such issues. It is the first time. I've never heard that before. And diplomats should serve as a role model to our young people that are coming up. Liberia being deprived of the visa-free to Korea, it is not because of Liberians that are involved in the criminal activities. I got all of the informations, and I've communicated with the Liberian Foreign Ministry, and I know what is on file. I have all of those evidence, and I can post of it right now on this platform. That's why I take my time to do research. It is not because Liberians are living in a country that own criminal activities. Liberians have a very good image in this country. Nobody should tell you that Liberians are having good image. But trust me, there are Liberians here too that are doing bad things. But it does not tell you that Liberian does not have good image in this country. That's a big lie. Do you know how many Koreans that are into our way every time they talk great thing about Liberia, the relationship that Liberia have with Koreans? But trust me, there are bad Liberians here in Korea, there are bad Liberians there in America, and there are bad Liberians everywhere, like any other country. But nobody should tell you that it is because of what Liberian involved with. That's why we are being, and we lose our values on the issue of visa appointment. That's a blatant lie.
What the reason? Detail the reason.
So in subsequent time, another day, I will state the reason on here. So let's go over to you, Alfred.
All right.
Yeah, let's go over to you, Alfred.
Thank you so much. I've been sitting patiently and listening to the argument and debate across the aisle. But when it comes to the issue of rape, I would tell you here clearly that our president and our government, they are not really serious when it comes to the issue of rape. They just masquerade, they make morale as if they say they're working, but they are not doing anything. If this president was very serious, as he claimed to be the feminist in chief, we would have had some results in Liberia by this time. There are too many rapes that are taking place in our country that have not been resolved. We still have issues that need to be resolved. Since the president declared the issue of rape as national emergency, tell me on the show here, how many persons have been persecuted and punished for rape? The president is on clip from his chairman of accusing the president of laying with women before he gave them job. That means say it.
Yeah.
That means won't say it.
They gotta bring your own story or tell me.
You understand?
They want to me today, so
you understand? This
president, we are my not there
clip.
today. I just talking about.
When we say these things, people say, oh, you hate the president, you hate the president. Let me say this. When you become a leader, especially at the level of a presidency, you are not only responsible to provide the basic need of your people, but you are also responsible to direct the moralness of your country, so to speak, right? So anything you do, it will have an impact on your country. Our president declared, in fact, I think it was 2019, there was a protest on rape. The president refused to accept the petition.
That is correct. 3 days.
But he declared himself as the chief feminist. He refused to accept the petition. In fact, he now even show up to support the women that were on the street that day, crying out to end rape.
Correct.
You understand? Okay. So for me, it angers me a lot that we don't have discipline in our governing process. The issue of rape is an age-old problem. We need a president who will stand up to it. We just need one person. Look at our government today. We have women in our government agency that cry about sexual assault.
Yep.
And nothing has been done about it. When the women, in fact, what happened in our government system is that if you are a woman working in a government agency and you are being harassed by your boss man, you are afraid to even come out to say it because you become stigmatized. In fact, your job is being at risk because when you come out to say it, the first thing they will say, oh, they get not let the men, they get lying.
Yep. Gentlemen, let's ask our question or just make our comment.
You understand? So I would join Sister Yasini here to say that our government people they lack the competence, they lack the discipline, and I also add to what my brother said, Brother Gabriel, that many of our people lack personal ethics.
Yeah.
Personal ethics in simple terms means the upbringing, what you learn from your mind and power, what you learn from the church. Why you hold to yourself as valuable. That's your personal ethics. Those are the things that you will live by when you go out. Even when you go in your professional world, your personal ethics is guided by what? Your professional ethics.
So
you understand? So if you have someone who is not properly trained, who does not value themselves, will be carrying a diplomatic passport, knowing fully well that they are not representing themselves. They are representing 5 million people. Will go in another country and become reckless and careless. Then will come here and sugarcoat it, will not come here and sugarcoat it, will condemn it because myself, I have a daughter. I will not want to hear somebody messing around my daughter. Because I value her mom. I value her mom so much. I value her as a woman.
Thank you, Alfred. Thank
You
you.
understand?
Thank
My
you.
daughter is 6 years old, and we can argue on sometimes we can argue. My daughter, we can argue. Sometimes she will say she doesn't want this, and sometimes when she says she don't want it, I have to stand down because she doesn't want it. So
Thank
if we
you.
can have our society being recalibrated for to punish people for wrongdoing, we will not go nowhere. We'll just be in a circle, going in circle, going in circle. But we need a president, a revolutionary president who will lead the way.
Thank
All
you.
this we're talking about here, it has to do with morality. What is our churches are saying about the issue of rape? What our religious people are saying about the issue of rape? Are they standing against it? How many times you have seen religious people in the street to say we are tired with this thing? The preachers in their churches, the preachers in their mosques. How many times you have seen that? Our system is corrupt, and if we don't have some people, especially at the executive mansion, who will stand up to these things, we are going nowhere.
Thank you. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you so much. T Max, Alfred just made a comment, so let's hear from. I know you got a question to ask our sister, but 1 minute. Somebody is saying that why I did not answer the question Gabriel asked. At the end of the show, I'll make Gabriel to understand why Liberians passport is an ordinary passport is no more visa free to the show. I mean to Korea. Go ahead. T.
Thank you, CEO. You know, my brother Alfred just, he just spilled the beans on how our people act, and when it comes to personal ethics, how we handle it as individuals. But it's sad for our country because for me, like Gabriel was saying, we come here and people try to sugarcoat stuff that we know happen. And we all grew up seeing those things. Like if you talk about workplaces in Liberia, a boss can just walk in the office and slap a girl
On the butt. Yep.
like grab her breast. I've seen those things, and to be honest with you, we felt that those things were normal. It wasn't like even
Because of what we know. Yeah.
right,
Because of what we know.
right. We grew up seeing those things. Or so now, okay, we say the joking. Oh, the boss joking with her. or
They got a hard joke. What you call
Hard-
hard joke?
Very good. Those are the worst. You
That's a
understand?
harassment.
Right. But we never knew all those things growing up, right? We thought it was just normal thing, like the two people joking, or the Konowa just say hard joke. Well, the hard joke. But we come to a point in life now where we understand that these things are wrong. And I'm so happy to have someone like our sister Yasini who are on the front line speaking out on these things, educating our girls. And I feel like in as much as we feel the country, because most time government don't want to encourage people of such because they feel threatened, they feel that this person is going against the government. But it's important that our girls are educated to these things, because I'll be honest with you, there are people who still believe that those things are normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
In as much
Yeah.
we in the 21st century, with all of the education, all of the social media, the internet access, to research and all of these things, people still feel it's normal back home. I'll tell you that for a fact. So and not just feel that it's normal, somebody afraid to lose their job. If you lose your job in Liberia, where you going to get one? So because of all of these reasons, people take stuff that they're not supposed to take, especially our females. So my sister Yasini, I really want to know. So because you just said the government don't want to work with you and all of these problems, sometimes we're afraid of getting the country. So how are you guys going to really reach out to our sisters in terms of educating them, helping them, and getting into some of these problems that are happening in the country and that has been swept under the rug? Because I'll be honest with you, we men, when we in power, we cover a lot of stuff. I'm a man. I'll be honest with you. We I mean, I don't have the kind of moral ethics other men have, but I know what we men do and how we think. And the fact that we always have the leverage of, you see, when Ellie was in power, the gender ministry was strong.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
tell you that.
Yes. Very strong.
She was looking at things from a woman perspective.
And
So she
Ellie is
wasn't
also a survivor, a rape survivor. She was raped.
right. So, but for we men, I know how high-headed we are and how we behave. You understand me? So, and when we find men in power, a lot of men, the women got to stand up. Y'all got to fight. Y'all got to educate our girls. I know for a third world country like Liberia, it's difficult, but what are you doing? Because the other day I heard you were in Liberia, but you were afraid because of security and there was a lot of stuff going on. Do you have a team on ground that you guys work with to carry on these education, to carry on all of these sensitizing, like having meetings, having workshop with communities on educating our girls?
So thank you so much, Gabriel, for that. Let me clarify for something. Me being
Okay,
like, I
maybe.
was not afraid that if somebody would kill me. I'm in my 50s. I've
Right,
lived and gone full circle. I
right,
was more afraid that people would rip me or do something that I will live with. I have to live with for the rest of my life. But I did get out. I did get out. We provided the net. I mean, we prepared ourselves to go. But people, we have a team on the ground. We also are a team here. You know, you have Dr. Francine that I've worked with for maybe 7, 8 years. Each year she goes to Liberia and she does, because she's a psychologist. She goes to Liberia and she does, with our support and without our support, she goes to Liberia and she conducts these workshops where she talks to people. We also have a team, and because some of them are very young, I'm not going to call their name out. We provide, monthly pad for young girls or people who still going through the cycle, and then we have these, and we go to schools, middle schools and high school, to talk to those children. But here it is, like you said, brother Abraham, when you know better, you do better. We
right.
know better, so we have a responsibility. Let me tell you something. When I spoke 2 years ago, 2021 June, on a year ago per se, on a rip or things that were happening in Liberia, and when I gave them the projection, Liberian men, I mean, I got cursed in my inbox. I got threatened. People must understand, rape is not only penetration, okay? We come from a culture where an old man who saw your mother pregnant will come and say, when you have that baby, say that boy, that my son or that my friend, okay? If that girl, that my wife. So they're watching this little girl. By the time her little breasts start coming out, puberty, they start touching you. And they think it's okay. Culturally, I'm from Nimakante. They do that, okay? That child don't even know her body. And her mind is telling her she's a child. Her body is telling her she's confused. I educate at middle school level. So I understand and watch these babies blossom with their peers. You may see a little girl, see a boy walk in the room. She likes him. And when the moment she starts giggling, she laughing, she can't stop. But here you are, you literally being somebody is more than you to be, and think that the only thing that you're worth is where between your leg. All right. So when Liberian women are older and they act up, then you men come to judge us, because that's what we know. That's what the society has taught us. We are supposed to bend over. We're supposed to get on our knees. Guys, most of the time I'm very graphic, but we have to have this kind of conversation, okay? And Liberia must learn this. We must learn that we teach our children from the time from what they call it here in America, 5th grade level. We start talking to them about human development. At elementary school, we start telling them places that you can't touch. In fact, when your child is born, boy and girl, when they start, they can hold the towel and clean themselves. You start telling them, people don't touch here. That person don't touch here. People don't touch this. If somebody says this to you, you should be able to tell them no, right? So we need to put this in school. Now,
I
we
am
are
not even calling you out, says you are seeing my 6-year-old daughter when she's in the bathroom. So you open the door, she will tell you I'm in the bathroom, you have to close the door. My 6-year-old daughter right here. So that's something they learn in school. When her
yes.
brother in the bathroom, her brother in the bathroom, she can't go there.
Mhm. Mhm.
When she in her room, her door closed, you open her door, she will ask, why you open her door?
You must not,
You must not the door.
Yes. So you see, the reason we and the European, we started the same way, living in tent, living in tree, living in house, okay? Moving from place to place to find place that is conducive to live. What they have done differently that left us behind is they have been able to integrate. When they move to one place or they acquire new idea, if it's suitable and they make their lives better, they migrate to that. What we African, most of us have not done that keep us going in circle is we say that my culture. Culture is a learned behavior. All right. When you say that our culture, if it benefits you, all right, and it does not benefit the next person, then that your culture. Why, if that culture will hurt your population and hurt your country, why cannot you make the adjustment when they prove that it does hurt the population? All right. So, Abraham, to answer the question, me, I like to tell stories. All right. So I will go around and come back to the story. We have teams on the ground. Um, we have registered organization on the ground. Some of them I can't put my name on it because I know they're going to shut it down. And the government must understand I'm not here to hurt Liberia. I am a survivor and a victim at the same time of what the decision that the leadership of Liberia have made. I left my country as a kid in this big old world, learn how to survive, and I learned how to survive. And I'm trying to say we can do better. Okay, and that's why I give back. That's why I've never given up on Liberia. That's why I protested in the 90s to bring Liberia to those that were stuck in refugee camps. If you find yourself on resettlement in Europe, in America, in Australia, anywhere, my voice was heard for that. During the Ebola, I protested against Ellen. I have family in almost every agency. I protested. It was not against Ellen. It was to do the right thing. When the Ebola, I was everywhere on radio station. I'm not one of those people who post and say being on the news or international news, it means I'm better than you. It was an opportunity. They heard me and they thought they wanted to hear my story to bring light to help my country. All right.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you. So, gentlemen, we're running out of time. Let's post the number to get views from our from our audience. And also to Gabriel, you can have her read a message while we are anticipating calls. And then our sister will respond. We'll all give our parting comment to have it a day. It's some minutes past 12 midnight, South Korea time. So
Ooh.
let's
There are many comments as well. I'm just going to read 10, because I think we are time pressed.
Yeah, definitely.
So our Fanny Zoka said, this is the best dialogue of Liberian I have ever saw online. A great discussion, independent and self-sufficiency.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. We like that.
So River said, Pro said, great conversation, guys. Mama Harry said, you acting like real Liberian man. You acting the real Liberian man. We don't like to be transparent. I don't know who he's talking about.
I think I'm Mr. Java.
Tomo Awaji say he cannot tell you anything. So Terence Smith said perhaps the better question to ask Mr. Java is how many tons of rice is he producing annually? Okay, that was from our previous guest. So we have Russell Pro, handle more farming. We need commercial agriculture. So much. Okay. We have you say who wants to wait for rice to be planted, grow, harvested? Too much time. I can triple my money at the casino in one day. Yeah, you don't want to invest in agriculture, you want to go put your money in casino. So gentlemen, the
mindset.
Keep coming.
Mindset.
Yeah. So we'll have Daniel Gales Kakula. He said they were sent as expedition with inside the foreign minister. I remember he was accused of rape in the United States of America. Thank you, my sister. So I think it's Cindy. Okay. I don't like to speak on rape because it is so sensitive. All I have bear in mind is rape. Don't try to put in the president. Try to make, I don't know what she meant. Okay, so far so good, gentlemen. The comments are so many. Let me just take the last one. Okay. Did you guys listen to CDC party chairman? He told us that the president can sleep with women. So give them job. We're in big trouble, my people. Thank you so much. So that's
Thank you.
it for mine.
Thank you, Gabriel. So let me announce the number there to our audience. If you want to participate, you can check in the comment section. There is a number right there to call. You call this number directly or call it on WhatsApp. If you're also watching on YouTube, the numbers are also there on the screen to call. So you can place your call through. Trust me, we're taking maximum 5 calls, and then we call it a day. Since Yasini Mountain, KPA is our guest tonight. We are discussing on our second section of the Diaspora Talk the issue of rape and the Liberian government officials that visited Korea that were also involved into on the last rape case. So placing your call, let's hear you quickly. It's 12 midnight in South Korea, and I know that it is also uh, 3 p.m. in Liberia, and I think it should be like so I say 11 a.m. in Georgia. I'm trying to guess the time around the world.
It's 11:15.
So
You're correct.
see you as we are waiting for the callers. I just want to ask Sis Yasini about success story. What are the people you have really had, maybe stood for them? I mean, specifically, some of the people that can just raise their hand and say, yes, at least this group stood for me. I got justice. And maybe because the government is not doing so much, so we rely so much on advocates.
I don't believe in the rape cases we've ever gotten. The success story would be that maybe we go through with them. We had the help for counseling. But because rape is the shameful stuff, there are very few people that are willing to stand up. Even the little girl that was raped to death, whose father is a EPS officer. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, we've had some, but my thing is just grabbing people and putting them in jail and not success. You must go through a full. Or listen, according to our constitution, every individual, even if you catch them in the act, they still have to be given due process. Okay, we put a lot of people in jail. My goal is not to put people in jail. The essence of the court is to find the truth and get the punishment that matches the crime.
Okay? Yasina, we got a caller. Good morning, caller. You know where you call from.
Yeah, good morning, and good evening, and good afternoon, and even perhaps good night to all of those listeners who are around the world. My name is Williams, and I'm calling from Tennessee, the volunteer state.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for the privilege to be here and to have this discussion. I want to appreciate all you guys who are on the panel. Most especially, I want to highlight Madam President, for your great work you're doing, your advocacy that has been long enduring and that has been persistent and consistent. And I want to thank you for what you do and keep up the good work. I call in particular reference to the current discussion that relates to our government funneling money to foreigners and enriching them and making them millionaires while our people are struggling to be able to make the difference. But I mean, our people, I will highlight Mr. Jabba, Armstrong Jabba. There's a visionary young Liberian who has a vision to liberate our country from importation of food and food that could be that are grown in our country already. And I like to thank Mr. Jabba for what he's doing. And imagine if our government will give him that subsidy of almost close to $40 million. That have been funded to work to Lebanese Indians and the Fula people. If our government would have given Armstrong Jabba that money, 35 million, 20 million, 11 million, 5 million a year, what would have happened to Liberia, our self-sufficiency in the production of our locally grown food? And I would like to just make this with reference to what made America great. America farmers during the Dust Bowl, the difficult time, the Great Depression, it took the government of the United States of America to empower and give the resources to the farmer. The farmer knew the technical know-how, they knew how to plant, they knew how to till the soil and how to bring their production, but they didn't have the resources. The government stepped in, the government gave them the sources, the resources, and the government gave them the finances and empowered them to be able to America what it is today. And imagine if we do the same thing in Liberia. the reason why we will
I
not
think
want
we
to.
should give the caller in your 10 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
You see, I want you to investigate those money. Follow the trend. I heard one lawmaker on Spoon talking about he couldn't even articulate a clear, lay out his investigation or hearing into the massive corruption that is taking place within the subsidy that has been dished out to Lebanese and foreigners. I mean, look, just in conclusion to what I want to say to you folks here today, not put more emphasis on comparing our government to empower our rich people, our young people. And in conclusion to this is what intrigue me, and this is what motivates me more to support Alexander Cummings, because when I supported Cummings, it was idealistically, but when I met Cummings in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he and I talked one-on-one at the hotel lobby in which he was staying, he asked me this question, I keep repeating it. He said, Prince, what are you doing in Liberia? And I told him, no, right now I'm not doing anything. Maybe I might be paying my house. He said, I mean, what are you doing as a young man? Are you involved in the business? Are you involved in the investment in Liberia or anything? And I was caught dumbfounded, didn't know what to say. He said, Prince, I know you support me, but I can't guarantee you to give you any position tomorrow when I become president. I can't guarantee you to make you any.
That caller is taking too much time, man. Yeah, let's take in the next caller, please.
I will make young Liberian millionaire who are already.
I think you are spoken.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
I will create.
You can come as a guest if you really want to follow on that.
So if you have anything, get into business.
I think you guys need to send invitation. Please,
yeah, thank you so much, brother. Timas, monitor the time.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. We got a lot of callers on the line.
They got finish.
Thank you.
Take the next call.
Thank you.
Yeah, take the next call, Timas.
Hello, caller. Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, that'll take 5 minutes, 5 seconds. 10
Hello?
seconds.
Yeah, the numbers on the screen to call. You can also.
Yes, in our much as we respect our listeners and callers, we have to observe the time, because all of us we are time pressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's give it 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm about to cut you off. Your name and where you call from? Go ahead.
My name is Copper, who I call from New York in the USA, commonly known as Cutting Edge Plan.
Go ahead.
Well, let me say thank you to you folks for the many engagements you've been having, especially about the rights issue. But I'm disappointed when I hear people talking about we're supposed to bring in rice for 1.5 years as a contingency plan. How long will we continue to talk about importing rice in Liberia? Is the Ministry of Agriculture was created to import rice or to import food?
My brother, let me hold you right there. I don't know who you heard talking about importing rice, but everybody here was talking about growing rice and making the country self-sufficient. Wherever you got your import story from,
I got the information from one of your panelists saying that we should be able to store rice for 1.5 years.
Well, I don't remember any panelists saying that, because we had somebody on the show who's growing rice in Liberia. So why would we be talking about importing rice? We were talking about growing rice. So I hope you got it.
Team Master, that I actually said that, but my point was that I actually said that.
Gabriel, you said that?
Yeah, I said that, but I said that should be a strategic plan from the
side of the government. Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
I follow the entire show.
Okay, go ahead. Right, with time press, go ahead.
We're not supposed to be talking about importing rice in we should be talking about food security, food production and food security. That's the point I want to make, because we have the capacity.
Right.
The money that they are taking to give to rice importer to bring in rice, as everybody's saying, we should not exist from slash and burn and go to mechanized farming, and even exceed going to GMO. We have to produce food or a genetic modifier so we can be able to feed our people. But thank you so much for the show.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your comment here.
Yeah, they're taking 3 more calls, T-Max. So the numbers on the screen to call, and also in the comment section and on our YouTube channel, you can dial these numbers on WhatsApp, or you can call these numbers directly to make your comment or contribution on our show tonight. We are time pressed. It is almost 1 a.m. in Korea, so trust me, we have to, do everything speedily. So let's take in more calls, and we will have our guests responding to calls, and then we give our parting statement.
I think she can respond whenever we have call. I will pick it up, but right now we
Yeah.
don't have. So
Okay, yeah, good, good. So I think you got the question. I don't know, was a question or comment? You want to respond to any of them
Yeah,
from
I
the
like to. I think I'm also interested in the rice issue. I think we need to be asking our government. I think Mr. President was correct. We do have rice in the country. Okay. I think this is the sixth or the ninth round of rice. The Japanese government giving us rice. They just brought in so many metric ton of rice. I think over 86,000 plus bags or rice. The information I'll text it to you. So I don't want to go through here and say that in May that rice were offloaded. The Liberian government has it. The Japanese government asked that the rice, and they agreed, the Liberian government agreed that the rice would be on the market at a discount price of $14 a bag. And I think they're like Jabba said that they're holding on to that because they're selling it now $35. So instead of paying the $14, they're doubling it. And when Jabba said that the people come and take over the agency and they're sharing the money, those are correct statements. Because go look at the budget, look at Liberian budget, the money that is sent there. And when Prince also said that they are there making to do whatever they're doing, he is correct. All right. The last government, the VP office, I'm not going to call a particular person name, but I'm going to start from the last government, which since after the war. The VP office were responsible or were overseer of the rice importation in Liberia, the cement importation in Liberia, and the group of 77. So maybe we all need to go back. It's our responsibility, especially if we're on social media and trying to educate our people and see what happened during that time, then compare to what is happening today. All right. Then today, y'all need the information. I will send it to you. In fact, go to Front Page Africa. It's published there. Go to the Liberian News Network Lima. It's there. What do you call it? The executive mansion. All of those information are available to us. How much rice they just gave us? Where did the rice go? Why are they selling rice $35? And another thing is, we should do magnet farming, and that's what America did. Until we learn to feed ourselves, that is not going to happen. All right. And these people, what do you think? A Lebanese man leave his country with a backpack, come to our country, and become a millionaire. But you tell our people they are lazy. Then the question becomes, all right, was Mr. President lazy when he was only working for government waiting to be president? Was Jefferson Koji lazy? And come to all of us, then the people who were there before. So let me say this to all of us. When we sit and ask aspirants to come and support our business before we can support them, that is the problem. That's why good people don't run the race in Liberia, because we anticipate in our people, that including myself, okay, that they give us money, they buy our vote, they pay our children's school fees, they pay our rent. Where are they going to get the money from? So maybe they go and borrow money, then they take power, they got to pay back. Let me say this to you. If you do that, your vote has already been paid for. So even we as citizens, we're calling our leaders corrupt, we ourselves, but that's what we know. So we need to educate our people to change the dynamics the way we have done stuff. Good people will not come up because most of the good people in Liberia don't have money. Majority of the good people in Liberia don't have money. And the Liberian government prefer doing business with foreigners because they can share the money and they don't have vested interest. If they do it with Liberian will talk. On the rape issue, I think the president encourages that. Because Malba Malu came up and said the president gave job based on money, mostly sex and your woman. The vice president came and confirmed that and said sex and sodomy for job. But let me go back. A young man by the name of Michelle, last year, 2020, was violently raped until his intestine came out. The people protested. We have never heard or spoken to it, and we are still talking. No justice, nobody was found, although there were people that were with him. All right. And the thing is, there are equipment or apparatus that are available to be able to collect DNA and test it in real time. Even if we don't test the person now, if we store this DNA and we have place that we can do DNA matching, we will know some of the things that are happening. But we don't want to do that. We take Why would you go to 50 people and put down the plane to come to UN to talk? So, I
Thank you.
mean, we can have
Thank
this conversation forever, but I think there's a need to talk about the food and rape in Liberia and put time to it so we can see what kind of change we can bring and how we can educate our people.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you so
sir.
much. So, gentlemen, let's start our parting comment. Even if we still have calls, we're taking one more call.
CEO, before we since you're saying
I mean, in the morning to your side, the outside a little better.
all right, we'll move on.
My man wants to now. See the man that he almost died on the Magoku.
A Monday morning on the men's now.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll move on. Go ahead, CEO. Go ahead.
yeah. Let's start with you, Alfred. Let's get your parting comment on our two discussion today. We hear from Gabriel Timas. We conclude, and then our guest we call it a day, gentlemen.
Thank you again, Lincoln, for giving me this platform to come here to share. You know, for every time we come here and we blast at the government, some people just feel that we not let the government, we hate the president, we hate it. No, that's not the case. Our people are looking for leaders. Gone are the days where the leaders were looking for the people. Nowadays, our people, we are looking for leaders. We are looking for strong leaders. I give you a case study. Paul Kagame of Rwanda, when the man became president, the country was considered a deaf lane. Look at Rwanda today. We need strong leaders that will stand up for every facet and fabric of our society. We need a leader that will stand up on the issue of corruption. We need a leader that will stand up on the issue of immorality. Because you can't tell me say you'll be a leader, then you get 4 or 5 girlfriends on the other side. You and your wife, you're in confusion and this and that.
Yep.
Sephora May Gray and Angie Banto, they are on clip of causing each other for president. We are. Sephora is on clip. So when we come to talk about all these things, we're not coming sugarcoat it. Our leaders. Just the other day, another girl was on social media accusing our president pro tempore of impregnating her and refusing to take responsibility.
She already had the baby.
She already had a baby and refusing to take responsibility. He started to drag the girl all around. So this is a pandemic that we have in our society. It is not only outside, but it is within our government structure itself, and it has become institutionalized. It has become institutionalized. So by the time somebody does it, the other person is not all they're doing is sitting, nobody to punish nobody. So that's why we are calling our people. 2023 is a very serious time. Vote like you have never, like your life is depend on it. Vote to move these incompetent people from our leadership structure. Vote and remove them and bring people that we can trust and bring people that will better the life of our people. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. See you afternoon. Have a good day.
Thank you, Alfred. Let's hear from you, Gabriel.
Okay, thank you so much. So, firstly, I would like to thank you so much, say Yasini, for appearing here the second time. And I would like to encourage you to keep pushing forward because this thing, taxpayer money that should be used to protect people, and it is not meant. The money are not meeting the internal purpose. So we need more advocates than you who already clamor against these evil deeds. So one thing I would like to say to all, let's say the incoming president or incoming leader of Liberia, do not give job to people based on political consideration. Because if you do that, that's the time you award job to, someone who has a scandal over a head.
Yep.
The man. You award job to people who have, because of political consideration. That's the time you get job to people and you have the square pegs in the round hole. You get me? And secondly, we should not be biased when we are looking at these things. Liberian right now, we should step and ask the president to ask his foreign minister to recuse himself and go and clear the dark cloud over his head. It's a very, very bad precedent for us. Let me tell you something. It's very, very bad. A 13-year-old girl was raped to death. We did not hear with the Mina Pisota clamoring against it or agitating against it. And today we are hearing her speaking. that will not show that she take rape seriously. That has been so hypocritical and biased towards the issue. And that's why I don't know where I got the word from. I don't know, selected amnesia, where I mean you choose
Selective amnesia.
you,
Yes.
yeah, you choose what to talk about, and you pretend that you forget about the
You
other
choose what to
things.
remember.
Yeah, you choose what to remember, and you forget the other things. So I think
Yes.
that's the issue with the Mina Piso touch. There have been so many rape cases we are never hear of speaking or let have been seen of. So I would just like to say, Liberians, open your eyes. Nobody has to tell you how to vote again. We are seeing what is happening. So thank you so much to the platform. Thank you, Seth Yasini. Thank you, Mr. Massaquoi. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln, the CEO. And that's it for my end.
Thank you, Gabriel. T-Max, let's hear you.
All right, see you. Thank you. I want to say, thank God for the diaspora talk and thank God for social media in this day and
Yeah.
age that we have the opportunity to speak out, educate our people, discuss issues, and really dive into some of these serious problems we have in our country and some of the ills in society. But on a very serious note, when it comes to the issue of agriculture, Liberia is 175 years old. We should graduate from that stage of importing rice. Mr. Jabba was very right when he said the reason they do that is because of the kind of cut they get from those transactions.
Yep.
That has to do with the Lebanese, the government, and
Hmm.
putting money in their pockets. So it's not that they don't know that they have the capacity, they have the land, they have the opportunity to bring any of those developed countries in Liberia to like do mechanizing finally, but they intentionally do it because it benefits their pocket at the end of the day. So they will keep importing rice. So every government follows suit, which is a disgrace and it suffer our people. I hope we can keep talking about these issues and there can be a way that our people will one day understand that um, import rice, like those days, even though the population was less, but Lofa alone, just Lofa County to could feed half of Liberia. We have food on the market, we have everything coming from Lofa. And we can still do the same. We have the land, we have the manpower. We just need the resources and the support to get that going. And moving to the issue of our country when it comes to rape and how our girls are treated. I want to thank our sister Yasini, for that advocacy, standing up, speaking out on these issues because the only way we can have a decent, a civilized society is talking about ills in society, speaking on it, frowning on it, condemning some of these acts. And in that way, we're going to make sure that the way our people used to think before, they will understand that those things don't exist anymore. We are in a civilized world. We are changing. We grow gradually. We learn gradually, and as
Right.
we learn, we grow. We have to also share that with our people. That's why I'm so grateful for the diaspora talk, where we have the opportunity and other talk shows, not just the diaspora talk, but other talk shows that really speak on ills in society because that's how we make changes and that's how we educate our people. And so I want to thank my sister Yasine. Keep on the good work. Keep pushing. Keep talking. No matter the threats, no matter the condemnation, but it is the right thing to do. And as long as you feel good about doing the right thing, keep doing it.
Just do
Um,
it.
I also want to thank our CEO, yeah, the man Lincoln McKay, for also keeping the diaspora talk going and come here every Sunday with the help of God to educate our people and inform our people on some of these things that are happening in and around our country. I also want to thank the platform and some of our panelists that are not here on vacation or for some personal reasons. But again, see you. I want to say thank you and back to you.
Yeah, thank you, T-Max. Thank you there. I think I would just give a parting comment and our guests will conclude and we call it a day. Because once you speak, then I mean we're finished. Yeah, thank you, T-Max and Gabriel. Also, thank you. Without you guys, trust me, the platform won't be. And also our audience, our dynamic audience who always following us regularly. We appreciate you guys for being on here. Liberia is our country. We love our country so much, so we have to always push our country forward. Liberia before any individual. Mr. Armstrong Jabba, thanks for the hard work. But one good thing that I make you to understand: try to engage investor. You cannot be a service businessman that just want to sit and wait for people to come and reach to you. I'm not saying that you are, but I'm just saying in that way that you have to reach out there. Don't get tired. Reach out there, engage people, do a lot of engagement, reach the business people and think and see how best you guys can, cooperate. If it is 50-50, let it be 50-50 because you talk about tractor, you will provide gasoline or fuel. Who would just want to bring the tractor to your farm and get provide fuel for them? No, nobody want to do it. Everybody want to get benefits. So if that person is bringing a tractor to clear your farm, trust me, you will want maybe someone at 20% or 30%. So you have to be business agreement. That's what business is all about because what you are involved with is not humanitarian activities, but it's profitable. So definitely anybody who want to get themselves involved, they definitely want to get a profit. Likewise, the government, it is true that government should be able to empower its people, but the government too at the end of the day will still want to get something in return. So you take your time, don't get more involved into political activities because at the end of the day, trust me, you might be harming yourself the businessman. Try to see how best you can work with the private sector and the government a lot better. If the government cannot help you this time around, perhaps the government waiting can be the next help for you. You never know. So just engage yourself skillfully to see how best you can achieve your goal. To our sister, continue on the advocacy on the issue of rape because we love our younger ones and we want them to be better in life. We with the kind of a terrible stories about rape and thing, it discouraged some of us, who as parents, seeing our young girls, coming up our sisters also too. So whenever we hear these stories, it play on us a lot. Finally, let me just make this clarification. Like I said, I'm going to respond at the end. One of the reasons you see Liberian ordinary passport, no more visa arrival to Korea because I remember 2000, I think 18 or 19, when the most, I mean, one of the biggest churches in Korea that have a very large population has, they normally have a conference every year, and that identical year, about thousand of Liberians came on that conference. But even before that time, if somebody have a monitor on it, yeah, have it muted, please, man. I don't know. Is it Gabriel? Can you mute your mic a little bit, please? Because the feedback is coming on. Even before that time, Liberians had just been coming from Liberia to Korea. Whether they get invitation, whether it's a fake, no legitimate invitation, just come to the people country. Someone that cannot even speak English. How can you be flying a Liberian passport and you cannot even speak English? So it started in confusing the Korean people. They started reaching out to the authority and XYZ. Thousands of Liberians came during that conference, and a Liberian guy fought the immigration guy at the airport. The video is all there on social media. So based on that, there was a you know misunderstanding, with the Liberian government, the Korean government. The Korean government reached out to them and told them I was on 40. That identical year, my sister, I'm telling you, the Liberian that pulled into this country, it was not for fun. And up to present, we even have foreigners that are using Liberian passport that are in the country. A lot of them came here. Guineans will yeah leave from Guinea, go Liberia, get Liberian passport. When they know how to say good morning or hello, they fly, they come to Korea because all they know it was visa free to Korea. So based on that, when the Korean authority reached out to that government, the government asked them to pull hot to that. That is the reason today you see the Liberian passport, ordinary passport is no more visa free. It's not because the crime that Liberians committing in this country. The crime other countries are involved in committing in this country, you cannot even reach out to Liberian crime. I'm telling you. So Liberians had good image in this country, and I can tell you for a fact because I've interacted with a lot of Koreans, and what I'm telling you is based on information that I received from the foreign ministry, documented information. That's what I'm explaining on this platform tonight, just so we all can know. So, my sister, let's hear your parting comment. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Every time we reach out to you, you make it your duty to be a part. Thank you.
Let me say to the Diaspora Talk, it's an honor being here, adding your voices to our voices. Somebody have to start the journey. Other people have to carry the journey.
Definitely.
Folks, if you look at the bottom of Diaspora Talk, you will see that I put links in the last 5 years, all the rights that have been donated to Liberia by just the Japanese. I'm going to go and also pull the one by the Chinese government that have been given to us. We do need to be independent. Though most of those countries came after us in their independence, especially Korea and all of those things. Um, I want to say to Liberian fathers, You know, I always say, and people say you don't like the government. The president of the Republic of Liberia is the father of the house. If you, as a parent, your child is being violated and you look away, you are aiding and abetting. As such, in the developed world, we hold you accountable, meaning you agree with what is happening to your children because you're looking away. You are in a position of power. You have the responsibility as pledged to the Liberian people. This government is your government. This victory belongs to you. Liberia will no longer be spectator in their own country. Okay? We will prioritize Liberian. Our women will be protected. We will create a place of unity and balance. Those are the words, exact words of the president. I wanted to speak to that. 2020, there were over 900 Liberians in 3 months that were raped and sodomized. Right? It's out there in Al Jazeera, in ABC, in Fox News. This is not from Yassindi. This is the look of your country. And we're supposed to do something about it. Now that we in the diaspora, or anywhere for that matter, that know better, we have a responsibility to do better. All of us. I know I see people here and say, bring the president. The president is clothed with the power. He has the bank book. He has the resources. He has the police. He has the army. Okay. He has every security sector. It is his job to protect all three wars, including the ocean, of the Liberian people. The lives of Liberian people, he's responsible to safeguard it, make sure they're secure. Every child in Liberia, he's answerable to them and must protect all of them. If that does not happen, it becomes his fault, because as a parent, my children as my responsibility. So to those of you who continue to raise your voice, never stop speaking, no matter what curse, what threat comes your way. But I want to say to Diaspora Talk, folks that you're watching, please share this. As maybe Gabriel, Abraham, and Lincoln may not be your friend, or you may not be my friend. If you share, people get to hear the perspective of Liberian living is in Southwest Asia per se. I mean, Asia per se, all right, because that's not Southwest. Korea is not in Southwest. I'm going to geography. So share it so other Liberians in Europe and all over the place can hear, because this is a very informative show from different perspective, different background. We are now all singing the same song, but we're singing the song that will make Liberia better. That said, I think I said what I came to say. I don't think there's much to be said. We have a responsibility to shape the next generation of Liberia. When we die tomorrow, think about how would you like to be remembered. I like to be remembered as the woman who stood, no matter what the hour was, for the girls and people of Liberia. That's all I want to be remembered. Now, when people see my children, they say, your mother spoke when most people wouldn't speak. Your mother took the risk when most people will not speak. We remember Miriam Makeba. I may never be Miriam Makeba. I may never be Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or Hillary Clinton or Oprah Winfrey or Sojourner Truth, but I will always be Yassindi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, we call it a day. You guys, have a wonderful, wonderful brand new week. So that's it for now.
I feel myself. I can't see myself.
Yeah, this is how we draw the curtain for the end of the broadcast this hour. Thanks for being on the Diaspora Talk. We appreciate you guys for being on here. Trust me, because of you guys, we always come on here to discuss the issues. Yeah, happy new month, the month of October 2022. 2 more months to go to see 2023. What's a resolution for the new year to come? Yeah, thank you ever so much for being on the Diaspora Talk. You have a wonderful brand new week, my people.